and Arbitrage. Happy New Year, everyone. Hope you guys had a great New Year's Eve, great New Year's Day. Today is the second.
Yes, indeed. Like she said, we want to say Happy New Year to everyone. Wanted to just come to you with some new information that we have come across. It's beginning of the year, slow news cycle, so it's kind of hard to find things, but we did find some very interesting things that we thought people would like to know about. I say we'll wait for some time to let people in. I didn't see it, the chat. I don't think it's populated, and we'll see. Is that it?
If you know, you know.
All right, I got you.
So,
I
for
got you.
if you know, you know, been hustling for that first
I
spot.
know. I see what you did there. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some.
Had to do it. I know you did. He gonna be mad when he come in.
Yeah. So it's some pretty good articles. We're gonna break you off with some interesting things, and then Erin, she some that she likes to talk about. So
You have
uh,
fake life stuff.
yeah, some of this is just digital technical analysis and things like that. But yeah, I was gonna let a couple people get in here, then we're gonna go into my articles are pretty short, but they are important, I do think. So let's go with the first article. You ready? Think we ready to go? Good to go?
I'm worried because it's not loading.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, this is an article from the Daily Hodl. So
Hmm.
we're all familiar with the Daily Hodl. So the title of the article is Bitcoin History Suggesting Significant Price Move Incoming According to Benjamin Cohen. And here's his outlook. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Benjamin Cohen. He is a Bitcoiner, if you will. He does technical analysis, has about 800,000 followers. And so he's he's vetted, he's very solid information. So what he says is crypto analysis. Benjamin Cohen says that Bitcoin has a good chance of printing a significant correction soon based on historical price action. So his historical price action from his technical analysis is Cohen says to his 788,000 YouTube subscribers that he's keeping an eye on Bitcoin's 100-week simple moving average. The simple moving average, right? So according to Cohen, each time Bitcoin has crossed above the 100-week simple moving average, Bitcoin tends to go back down to retest it before continuing upward. So since Bitcoin has crossed above the 100-week simple moving average several months ago, Cohen says that there's a risk for downside before a shoot up to the upside. This is in history's indication.
Did you say what it was going to touch?
No, he didn't give an exact number, but he was saying that once it double tests the 100-week simple moving average at support, and he said you've seen this in multiple cycles. He goes back to cycle in 2016, and so this is, in his opinion, a great indicator. So I don't know about the people out there. Is this an indicator that use technical analysis, the 100-week simple moving average? And I'll go over here and just read it just real quick so people understand what the simple moving average is. It is a SMA is an arithmetic moving average calculated by adding recent prices and then dividing that figure by the number of time period in the calculation average. So they have a formula for it, but everybody knows anything that you use, any app will calculate the simple moving average for you. So you don't necessarily have to know the formula. Old school people would know the formula and they would calculate their own simple moving average. So 100-week simple moving average, and this is a great indicator for upside movement. What do you think, Aaron? What would you say?
I think technical analysis is
Mhm.
not my scope
Okay.
of expertise,
Right.
especially since he didn't forecast what he thought it was going to retouch.
No, he didn't give a forecast of the actual price point, but he just says he wants it up.
I'm reading Jake Fever's
What did he say?
response. He said, I don't trust any technical analysis right now. ETF is a major event that will reset all technical analysis.
This is
People
true.
really don't understand the ETF impact is going to be crazy into the moon. Chapel House said, happy 2024. Hope your year is blessed. Hope you all
Yes, thank you.
are going to enjoy a year of prosperity. But 2024 is not the year to play with, right? It is going to be a very tumultuous year, and it's going to require good decisions,
Yeah, good
like
decision
all
making.
the way through, right? So 2024 really isn't the year to be, well, one, reckless, right?
Right.
People have their time to be reckless, but it's also really not the time to be too experimental,
Right.
right? It's a year for good decisions. It's a year for solid decisions, and it's just that we're fighting against multiple forces.
Okay.
I gotta watch my words, y'all. We're fighting against multiple forces who don't want to see the wealth transfer
So that's, you got to stay.
to the everyday person.
Yeah, so stay steadfast in your fight. I want to get back to what Jake Fever said. He is exactly right, because technical analysis is just that, it's technical. There are all kind of things that can happen in a technical analysis period that can change price direction one way or another,
Yes.
right? If we could all just go off technical analysis, we'd all be rich, right? But there's always a problem. Something pops up right there. You thought it was going to go to a certain price, and then it didn't. So, this is just something to keep in mind. Keep in mind, it's it's something that you would look in the macro, because 100-week moving average, simple moving average, is basically a little bit under 2 years. So that's a zoom out on your chart. Basically 2 years as you're watching the price movement. So just keeping a macro eye on this event, and you can always go over and check him out and see what he's talking about.
But I will say this, right? So everything has a utility. We never
Yeah.
want to throw something out completely, right?
Mhm.
Technical analysis can be used as what we call indicators. So he's basically saying that there is the prospect of a pullback before it shoots forward. Knowing that in mind, you may want to have a bit more, they're pinging me. They may have more, you may want to have more cash on the sidelines so that if there is a pullback, you can buy it on sale. So, Jake Fever, in that particular sense, you can utilize it as an indicator. Say, you know what? I may have, a bonus coming in February, or my commissions are coming through, or however, people get paid or what have you, and I'm going to push this to the side. If I see a pullback, I know that I can dollar cost average a bit more Bitcoin in that sense. Nerd of Inc., thank you so much for joining the room. But I always tell you guys, like, everything has a utility, and glass half full. You always want to look to see what type of utility does this have that I can benefit from, that I can use. Is there any of it that, will benefit me in some which way, shape, or form? And this way, we don't always just kind of completely throw things out, or like I say, sometimes it's believing the hype, right? You can't believe the hype all the time. You do want to look and say, all right, let me look at this and see if there's something I can use from it.
Yeah.
Reno
Definitely.
Gamble. Whew. Sorry, Reno. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
And so, yeah, so that's all we really wanted to say about Bitcoin. Just wasn't much news, like I said earlier, the news cycle. But one of the reasons we love Bitcoin, right, is because of its ultimate scarcity. Absolutely. So what we're going to do, we're going to pivot to another asset class, which is silver, which does not have absolute scarcity, but it looks like it's having more scarcity than before. So this is a headline from seekingalpha.com. So everybody's familiar with Seeking Alpha. Silver production shortage. Mexico's supply has dropped off a cliff. So that's problematic. So let's go into that real quick, why they say that Mexico's supply is dropping off a cliff. So Mexico's silver production is declining double digits annually for the first time in almost a decade. Latin American labor and environmental activism pose as a risk to mining activity in the region. Silver is critical for net zero economies and renewable energy, with high demand expected in industries such as solar. So I won't bore you to death with this, but Mexico's is the highest silver producer in the world. So it has been a number one producer of silver, but the nation silver production is down almost 25% for the past 2 years. That is a shocking drop off the cliff in silver production. The reason that this is important, because the way that the world is going, solar, EV, electronic vehicle, and things like that, it is going to take up the silver demand. And
And it's going to push silver into an ultimate scarcity
Yeah.
in a sense. So I will say this, here in Mexico, right, you get cheap labor
mhm,
and they'll pretty much do almost anything for a way of living, right? And the problem with that is silver mining is dangerous.
it's dangerous.
It's not any safer than diamond mining or coal mining or any other mining. So it sounds like you said activists, and what else is the counterparty risk here for the silver miners?
Yeah,
For the
activists,
mining
yeah,
companies?
and people who speak out for the labor market. So they are
But
concerned.
activists, no matter how you say it.
When I
they're
say the
activists.
activists, that they're more talking about the activists for like land. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like fracking and all of that
Yeah.
other stuff. Okay. So, one, I will tell you this, a couple years ago, we had gotten some information that, was it by 2050?
Yeah.
Silver would be the first element on the periodic table to be struck from the periodic table because it would be virtually non-existent.
Yeah.
We are catapulting towards that. And when I say that, again, everything has a utility, right? With this indicator, you want to definitely try to get your hands on some silver rounds, some ASEs, something, because what's happening is the industrial use of silver, it is going to overtake the precious metals aspect of it, right? I know Ford, I was just telling Simon about this.
Yep.
So related but not related, story time. Ford is virtually going to go out of business. And the reason why they're going to go out of business, potentially, even with the credits and subsidies of the United States, Ford's flagship vehicle is this electric vehicle.
Okay.
Very impressive when they give you the what do you call it? The, like, not the schematics, but when they give you the
Okay.
schematics of it, I guess. It's supposed to like beat out Tesla, right? The battery and everything is up to 639 miles before you need to, but it's a very expensive vehicle. And in the current economy, it is not reasonable for everyday citizens or even the people who they thought would be loyal Ford users to utilize this vehicle. I'm bringing all of that up to say that the silver use in the vehicle is it's a product that has one of the highest uses of silver and gold inside the vehicle. Like when you start stripping away parts, processors, stuff like that. And you have to imagine that they are making, I would like to say, thousands of these vehicles. Now, the problem is that your everyday person can't afford that. It's a nice truck, don't get me wrong. The average person can't afford that truck.
Yeah. And
Go ahead, babe.
also, when she said about 2050, remember we went over this in a past article about 85 in the year 2050, about 85 to 97% of all silver mined will be used in solar.
And solar panels, right? So now you have the solar
yeah,
panels. Then you have, we're talking to you right now from a MacBook Pro. There's 2 or 3 of them hanging around the house, plus your iPads. Your iPhones have both silver and gold. Televisions that they're literally giving away, I'm sure, have a significant amount of silver because they're smart televisions and your Rokus and so on and so forth. So there is a significant use, industrial use, in addition to the solar panels, because if any of you have seen a solar panels are big.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about commercial use, like for instance, I don't know, I'm sure we brought it up, but we do, what is it called in Africa?
Yeah, I did a whole show on the Sun Exchange. We talked about it.
Exchange.
And that's just a place where you own solar panels and you receive the excess energy in Bitcoin. And so that's a big initiative they have going on in South Africa.
And you can buy a cell or multiple cells, or you can buy a whole panel. But the idea is that the cell uses silver, and then you need X number of cells per panel. Then you need X number of panels, in order to be staged on top of commercial buildings,
Yes.
schools, hospitals,
Yes. All right.
nursing homes, et cetera, right? Commercial property. So just understand that the surface area that's being utilized with these solar panels are significant. Again, typically, at least in the US, the government offers credits for using clean energy, yada, yada, yada.
So
blah,
let's
blah,
do
blah,
that.
blah, blah.
Let's go into this real quick.
But you now want to understand why purchasing silver and gold, precious metals, is important to you, right? Because you understand that when they use the silver or the gold inside of your MacBook Pro, your television, your solar panel, whatever, that silver is not, it's not reused. They don't salvage the silver
that ends up in a
and put it
landfill.
in something else, right? So the silver is being used into.
Yeah, it's not being. If that was gold, they would actually make a point to go get it, but that ends up in the landfill when your computer is broken.
But even the iPhones, it's not enough gold where the price and the time of salvaging it is worth it.
Right.
So that goes by the wayside as well.
And so then you have to look at this also. I'm gonna go into two real things real quick. Now let's look at solar subsidies. Today, solar is getting 300 times more in federal subsidies than nuclear. So now there's an incentive to use silver because you're going to get that large subsidy. And then there's one more thing, and then I'll let it go. Let's talk solar. For every gigawatt of solar, 500,000 ounces of silver are used. So just keep that in mind. Houston, Texas, there will be 1.5 million ounces per year used just in this one company. And down the street, there'll be another 1 million ounces per year used just in one.
And they're not mining fast enough to keep up with, at least not in Mexico, right? They are mining in other places. Jake Fever got me. He said specs. Yes, not the schematics, people, specs. Yep. I have seizures. I forget words. So y'all be patient with me. Welcome, PFC Wells. Thank you so much for joining the room. He said the EV is hitting its first major growing pain. Yes, and a growing pain it is. All the traditional car manufacturers are going to feel it eventually, but the problem is that right now it is more cost effective into a struggling economy to buy a traditional vehicle, a traditional used vehicle like that, right? And we're headed towards tax time. Y'all already know what time it is. They're gonna be waiting. Y'all bring y'all W-2s over here. We'll do it right here at the as a car salesman. Won't he do it right there? And then they'll collect the tax return for you. You drive off in a nice secondhand, third-hand, fourth-hand car.
And I'll tell you one other thing about silver, about the mining dropping off a cliff. So there's a number where the silver price has to be a certain price where the mining companies can still stay profitable.
Yep.
And if the price of silver is below that price, then you get less mining of silver because the companies will go out of business. So this also plays into the fact that there won't be as much readily silver available, right?
But it pushes it more towards the scarcity that JP Morgan Chase is looking for, right?
So eventually that price has to go up so these mining companies can stay afloat. So, I know people get frustrated by the price of silver, but, stay steadfast and it'll go up because things are happening, as you see. They're happening very, very slowly, but you just keep an eye on it.
Diabolically, they're happening. Now, do they happen in our favor this time? Hopefully, yes. But do understand that, right, these things also happen on purpose. These are not like, oh, that's weird that this happened. No. These are staged events.
Yeah.
Right? They know exactly what they're doing, and they do want to kind of push this particular asset into scarcity. Now, here's the other thing I want to kind of hip y'all to. I don't have the receipts for this, but I will find the receipts. Understand that our community has been broken from a lot of things, right? When we talk about the whole slave thing, you're broken from your language, your culture, your this, your that, the third, so on and so forth. But you're also broken from the collective consciousness of wealth, right? Okay. Certain communities, and they will not be named on this platform or show because we're not allowed to call them out. They are born into understanding that when you're born, your people bring silver, gold, and money to that child when that child's born. When they have their rites of passage at 13, and you know what community we're talking about, there is so much money, silver and gold, flowing through, whether it's for the boy or for the girl, flowing through that rite of passage. And it's a rite of passage of wealth. That's the whole point of the rite of passage. I want you guys, when you get a chance, I want y'all to Google LeBron and his rite of passage. Y'all know what it's called, right? So I'm hoping you guys know what I'm talking about. And the only reason LeBron had that as a grown man in that particular community is because of the wealth that flows through there.
Yeah.
Even though they were bringing him money, they all knew they were going to make money off of him some which way, shape, or form.
Of course.
Right? And I'm bringing all of that up to just understand that our community is one of the only communities that don't understand that. When we have our baby showers, instead of bringing me a pair of Jordans for a newborn baby, bring this child a couple of rounds and ounces of silver. Okay. Right? My baby don't need no Jordans, okay? Don't buy that Jordan onesie. Don't bring none of that. I don't want no Waka Flocka hat to go on a child's head. We misunderstand, and then it's almost like exploited that way. Like, ooh, they don't know what the whole point of the baby shower is to shower the child in wealth and in the things that the child needs. Unfortunately for our community, we think the child needs a pair of baby Jordans that he's only gonna wear once.
And unfortunately as well, when you try to do that, bring something of wealth to the baby, it's misallocated by the parents.
Oh, well, there's
and,
that.
You know, and no disrespect, we ran into that on a few occasions, right? You try to bring some wealth
they
to the
sold
baby.
It.
They done sold it, man. Who knows what, man? So,
now they got a pair of Jordans.
Yeah, so you know, you try to do things, you try to tell them, but hey, you know.
So I do want to, like, when we talk about going back into antiquity and understanding traditions and stuff, right? That's what the baby shower was. It was to shower the baby into wealth so that the child can come into the world in the collective consciousness and understanding of wealth. Some communities even take the gold round and put it on the child's third eye. Right when they're born, right there in the hospital room. In order to, you know, shower the baby with prosperity, abundance, you will have this. And those communities maintain their wealth. Dollar circulates in their community a million times. Y'all know the rhetoric. But these are some of the things that we want to share with you guys because we understand what got lost. We understand what it got replaced with. And we want to get back to the right way of doing things. Now, you don't have to wait till somebody's having a baby in order to get some ASCs, get some AGEs, right? And when I say ASCs, for those of you who are not familiar, it's American Silver Eagle, and AGEs are American Gold Eagles. I was watching a show. I should have woke you up. This guy wanted to buy his already wealthy girlfriend a new car. She said, "Don't buy me nothing that's going to depreciate off the lot. Get me some AGEs." She wanted a monster box of AGEs. I should have played it for you, but I think you were sleeping.
That'd be nice. That's always
and
nice
but it was it was cute, it was funny, but it was smart. She said, "Don't buy me something that as soon as it come off the lot, we already got 2, 3, 4 cars. Buy me a monster box of AGEs." So just understanding that the year of 2024, we want to utilize indicators, right, in order to make some better decisions, some sound decisions, some decisions that are going to benefit us, may not benefit us in 2024. That's the other thing that we need to talk about as a community. As a community, what we've been given is short-sightedness. I'm just trying to make it through today. I just need to make enough money to do this. I just need enough. It's not thriving, it's surviving. Right? So we need to understand that the decision we make today may not benefit us tomorrow, but it will benefit us in the long run. And sometimes it is a long run, okay? Again, I don't know how many of you guys get tax returns, how many of you benefit from the tax return, how many of you have bonuses coming up. Typically, the company I work for, our raises come up, I think in April or something like that, right? So on or around that time. And when we get extra money, when we get, whether it's expected or unexpected, we always have a plan for unexpected blessings. And that is the main critical factor when people run through money, it is because they did not have a plan for it. It was
Yeah.
kind of burning a hole in
There you
their,
go.
in their Amazon account. It's burning a hole.
What I can't see sometimes. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get back to the chat. I'm just
Okay.
talking to y'all about stuff. Okay. PFC Wells was still talking. He said solar panels are expensive to refurbish and recycle, but there are some startup companies out there working on that. The reason why they're working on that is because they get those contracts and those credits, right? So whether they do it or not, they stand to kind of gain in the meanwhile. Jake Fever said they'll probably just use the cheap conductor metal if silver and gold get too expensive. Of course, they will absolutely go to a secondary metal. Of course, that is also going to bring the price down of whatever it is. Technology's gotten pretty inexpensive. I won't say it's cheap. Technology's gotten pretty inexpensive, but yes, Jake, after a while, they will come up. That's what they're using AI to figure out right now anyway. Are there other metals in order to kind of replace things if things go scarce? But what they are working on is to profit off of the scarcity in the meanwhile.
Yeah, the thing about, I understand what he's saying. You just got to be careful with some of these metals, conductivity, how much heat can they hold, certain things like that. So that's why silver is one of the ideal metals, because it's priced and it's, like you said, safety and conductivity.
But they're working with AI in order to come up, I guess I can call it an alloy.
Yeah, they got alloys, but.
Right, but to come up with what can we do, almost alchemical, right? Like alchemy. What can we do alchemically in order to replicate this as good as well as we can in the event of ultimate scarcity of this thing, because the industries are they're too critical in order for can't make any more computers, can't make any more phones, can't make any more
that kind of stuff. I think that kind of stuff can be replicated. You have to be careful with like car batteries and stuff like that. Because certain metals will have a certain metal.
Oh yeah.
So you got to be careful in like car batteries, even the solar panels. You'd have to be careful. But and computers.
But they're not above trying to replicate stuff in the just like how they make lab diamonds. They had this thing. They had a name for it. They make these diamonds in the lab at like Hellsberg and Gordon's Jewelers and stuff like that. But they're not above trying to see if they can replicate the organic aspect of silver and gold. They on it. Is it going to be worth what silver and gold were worth? Absolutely not. But they're on it, Jake. PFC Wells. I'm all about historic plates. Oh, you got an old car? Is it a Cadillac? Fresh Trades. Where do you buy gold in the United States? So there's several places you can buy precious metals in general. I want to welcome you to the room, Fresh Trades, because I'm not familiar with your handle. So welcome. Thank you for joining us. APMEX is great. It's APMEX. So it's what does it stand for again?
American Precious Metals Exchange.
Y'all, these sieges be hurting me. APMEX, Miles Franklin. You can just look that up. If you tell them Aaron and Gordon sent you, they'll give you some percentage off, which helps with the premiums when buying precious metals, especially silver, right? And I think gold has a pretty good premium as well. Miles Franklin. There's another one, JM Bullion. It's JM Bullion, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, JM Bullion. We bought some stuff from
SD Bullion.
And SD Bullion.
And don't forget one of the low key places to buy is they're called local coin shops. And you probably have them in your town, wherever you live, somewhere around. You can go actually into a coin dealer and look, and you can see physically what you want to buy. You can hold it, you can touch it. And so that's always a way to buy gold and silver. And they unfortunately do have gold at pawn shops.
No, don't go to a pawn shop though, because they're gonna gringo you, even though you're American and in the United States.
It's there. A lot of people sell gold there.
Fresh Trades. Also, if you pay for that, Costco sells it right off the shelf.
Yeah, they do.
So you may want to, but I think they only sell gold. So you may want to just double check that. But you asked about gold, so I figured you got some paper in order to get some great investment. I think it's something, if you guys, whether it's expected or unexpected income, have a plan for it. That's typically our first plan. As soon as we get a bag, whether we expect it or don't expect it, we go get our precious metals.
And remember, what was the handle? I'm sorry.
Fresh Trades.
Fresh Trades. Remember Fresh Trades? Yeah, keep an eye on the gold to silver ratio. So right now it's about 82 to 1, 81 to 1. Analysts will tell you should be buying silver
right now
only until it gets to about 40 to 1. And then you switch over and start buying gold because you're getting, and all the silver gold ratio means how many ounces of silver does it take for you to buy 1 ounce of gold. So at this ratio, 81, 82 to 1, it is more beneficial to buy silver right now. And then if you get it down to about 40 to 1, they say you can trade your silver in for gold without even having to spend more money yourself. You could just take the silver and you'll get it for half the price. I think the history of gold to silver ratio is 15 to 1. So you got a long way to go. And so right now, silver is the best buy, but I understand wanting to have gold. Gold has just reached an all-time high. I believe I read that yesterday. So, but that's something to keep in mind as you're building your precious metal portfolio.
And if you guys have children, right, let the children handle the precious metals, sit with them, talk to them about it, teach them about it. Let it be something that they're used to so that it can filter into their consciousness. And then when your grandchildren come, it'll start filtering into their collective consciousness that wealth is just something that we come from. Yeah. All right, PFC Wells. Definitely sure that that's part of it at Jake Fever. Jake Fever, I just buy junk silver coins. I hate when y'all call it junk silver coins. Constitutional coins are uber duper beneficial, y'all. Yes, and it is a great investment. So Jake, you on the money. Don't be calling constitutional silver junk coins. He buys panda rounds for collections. Panda rounds for collection? Yeah. I'll ask you about that later, Jake. But yes, constitutional silver, the quarters, the dimes, the nickels, anything minted before 1964, right? It's also in a post-apocalyptic time. If it ever turns in the Book of Eli on us, it's easier. It's more divisible than the actual rounds. So you have your bars, you have your bullions, you have your rounds, and then you have your constitutional silver. Yeah. And your constitutional silver obviously is the most easiest divisible if you ever had to do a bartering situation. Yeah. And you don't have to wait for a post-apocalyptic event for bartering. They have websites and stuff where you can barter things instead of using cash. I sat and watched this for 2 hours one night. It was interesting, but I never got my 2 hours back. The guy went from trading a paper clip all the way up to almost buying a house.
Yeah, so I think it was red paper clip, if I remember.
It was something crazy. So there are websites where you can barter your constitutional silver, your rounds, stuff like that. Even less valuable stuff you can barter. So you don't have to wait for a post-apocalyptic.
And they're doing it now. I know even people do it with Bitcoin, right? Say say I'm a contractor, I do some work for you, and
show me some Bitcoin.
Yeah, I would charge you $100, but I say I'd rather you send me $100 worth of Satoshis. Right. And you could just send me $100 worth of Satoshis, and that's what I'd rather have. So you can still do it. You can still make payments. I see it a lot around here. People do want to have
Fiverr do it too. Like your tech guys on Fiverr, they don't want you to pay them. They don't want you to pay them in fiat. A lot of them want you to shoot them sats, Ethereum, or XRP, right? Because XRP is kind of running right now. So I don't know if you guys use Fiverr or whatever, but if you do any uber complicated technical platform, a lot of them will say they prefer that. PFC Wells, that's just like the movie Time with Justin Timberlake. I keep seeing the clips for it, PFC Wells, but I haven't watched the movie. You can, like, if I have, you can see my time over my head, and time is the commodity that people are trading. If you're like dying,
I got you.
I can like give you, but I never got to see the movie, but I do want to watch that. Is it on Netflix? The Society for Poor was literally about working to get Timberlake added to their genetic lock to live another crazy concept. But when you think about it, it's really not that different than what we do, right? When you look at potential candidates for your organization, right? You're not going to hire, even though the 60-year-old person is going to have the most experience, been in the industry forever, is going to be the most adaptive. You have other counterparty risks. Right? So you're looking at the time of the 23-year-old. Well, this 23-year-old can work for me for the next 42 years.
Yeah.
versus the 65-year-old who you could retire next year on me. And all of that experience is out the door. I just wasted a year's salary, so on and so forth. So the concept of trading time isn't really that far-fetched. We kind of do it now. When y'all see all these young girls get missing, when you see these children get missing, it's young melanin that they're taking. So they are really
taking your time. I watched an interesting documentary about a prison guard. He was retiring, and he did 30 years. He worked as a prison guard for 30 years.
He did 30 years.
But what he said is he basically spent 15 years of his life in prison. Granted, he was the guard, but working 12-hour shifts, working all these extra overtimes. His life has spent 15 years in prison. He traded 15 years in prison for a paycheck. And people don't think about it like that, but he was in prison. No. He was in prison all those years. And,
my mom worked in a psych hospital.
There you go.
So she spent 42 years as a psych nurse.
Well, you got cut it in half. Cut it in half for the 12-hour shifts. But
she used to work, I told you she used to work 20-hour shifts. She was doing crazy stuff, y'all. I get my work ethic from my mom. A perfect example of that is pearls. That industry turned to synthetic back in the 80s or the 90s, which dominates the current global market. Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right about that. And it's so weird, right? Because nobody seemed to mind that the pearls are fake now. They're weird. They don't care. They don't seem to mind. But the blue-haired women, we used to call them the blue-haired women. I'm telling y'all, these teachers really be running me.
Are they the same people who was talking about Chucks and pearls?
No. Well, yeah, but yeah, the AKs and they those pearls are real. The sorors, those pearls are real. But the blue-haired women, it's a place that used to be right there on Long Island. It's driving me crazy.
But we get what you're saying.
They minded very much that the pearls, because they were that community. I know I'm talking about. Look up Levittown.
They're not here anymore.
And they wore pearls in their ears. Like, pearls was a big thing. And it's weird because in their community, pearls are considered unclean because it come from the clam. Mm-hmm. I can go into that in another show with another rant. But I do notice that pearls and PFC wells, keep me honest, like amethyst and garnet and those stones.
Ruby.
Right? People seem to be okay that they're synthetic now, where back in the day, like the amethyst was the amethyst, the garnet, the ruby, sapphire. Those had to be real back in the day. And it's like, nobody minds that they're fake now. They still gonna wear them. Cryptonomics, sup? Let me watch what I say today. Yes, you be on your best behavior, cryptonomics. No, you can say whatever you want, love. This is a free room. Let's Square, thank you so much for joining us again. Great information. Happy New Year to you. We hope you guys are blessed with prosperity, abundance, good decisions this year. Good decisions this year, y'all. And you up to charge the fiat price to encourage crypto payment. You up the charge to the fiat price to encourage crypto. Do you mean on Fiverr, PFC Wells? Was that the Fiverr comment I made? Think of the homeless population. They're literally breaking the model of time for money. The rest of us still playing the game of time for money. We are still playing the time. Mm-hmm. They had to be real back then. They didn't have no synthetics, jewels, and tech back in the day. Fake. Yeah, that's what we were saying, cryptonomics. You walked in on the conversation.
What do you say, breaking the... I'm sorry, I missed that.
What? What did you miss?
Breaking... Who's the homeless are doing what? I missed that.
He said, think of the homeless population. They're breaking the model of time for money. They're not able to, they're not able to exchange it. Yeah, we were saying that PFC Wells had mentioned cryptonomics, that they exchanged the real pearl for the fake pearl and nobody seemed to mind. They still wear pearls anyway. And then we started talking about the other stones and stuff that have been exchanged, but people don't mind. Yeah. I'm guessing maybe diamonds is one of those things. I see those diamonds on Amazon. I say, y'all out here buying these diamonds for these women. And they have no idea it's $20.99 on Amazon I love until the guy come around with the little whoop. So maybe diamonds are another stone that nobody seems to mind. But I think the lab ones will make his thing. The lab ones, I think.
I couldn't call that. I don't know about that.
I think his little beeper will still beep with the lab ones.
Well, okay.
I thought he said that. Habdi. Hi, Will. How you doing? Thank you so much for joining us. So, so back to 2024 and some of the indicators we need to be looking at. He said they be diamond testing too. You know the women do. Let me check this diamond before I say I'm gonna get married to you. We were looking at indicators in order to kind of at least start thinking about some of the things that we want to kind of invest in. So we were talking about, for those of you guys who just joined the room, Jake Fever and a few other people were on before, but we were discussing utilizing the indicator. What's his name again?
Who are we talking about?
The gentleman with the Bitcoin technical analysis forecasting.
Oh, Mr. Cowan.
Mr. Cowan.
Mr.
So
Cowan,
Mr.
Mr. Ben
Cowan
Cowan.
he has 800,000 subscribers.
Yes.
Bitcoin Maxis are familiar with him. I'm not as familiar with him. He's familiar with him because he does technical analysis. And he was just saying that he forecasts a pullback before the shoot forward, before the catapult forward.
Yeah.
So we were just saying, let's utilize that as an indicator where if we have some extra cash on the sidelines, we know we can go ahead and buy Bitcoin at a discount.
Yes, indeed.
But we can do a little bit more dollar cost averaging on it. You had mentioned one more thing. Oh, the silver. So Simon had read some articles, you guys who are just joining us, that the silver mining is
down.
Is reaching a deficit.
Yes, down 25%, 2 years in a row in Mexico. So Mexico is the largest miner of silver, and they're having some problems. They're slowing down the mining. They're stopping mining because of activism and laborers, not laborers, activists for laborers. And also, you know, they're, like she said, for the environmental causes too, because mining, they kind of go out in these farther west places in Mexico. One of the places, Dorado, and they mine silver in these small pueblos.
Yeah.
Right. And the good thing is it actually gives the men there jobs that they can take care of their family with.
But they're dangerous jobs.
They're dangerous jobs, and they're not being paid what they should be paid.
And they don't have like benefits when they hurt themselves. They don't have dismember insurance and stuff like that. So
it's like
exploiting the pueblo.
It is. And that's what they're gonna do. I mean, that's what they're gonna do. They're not gonna pay top price for people to go down here and mine. So, and because you're having stoppage of mining, lower cost in silver per ounce, these mining companies are getting to the point where they're not solvent anymore. And that's going to cause less silver to be mined and more scarcity.
So it causes more scarcity in that it's not being mined, but it is still being utilized as an industrial metal for, like we talked about, solar panels, iPads, MacBooks,
Everything.
iMacs, so on and so forth, right? The EVs, the electric vehicles and stuff like that, still in production. I know that there's been a massive recall for Teslas. I don't know if he has to replace any of the mechanisms in there that have silver in it. So just understanding that the silver is still being used at the rate it's being used. It's just not being mined to meet that.
And we got to remember, J.P. Morgan Chase, the largest holder of silver in the world, just has silver and they're just hoarding it.
Holding it.
So nobody can get to that silver. That silver is off limits.
Jamie Dimon considers himself to be a hodler.
They had so much silver that they were forced by that, was it the SEC?
They were forced by the SEC and a few other entities
to offload some of their silver. Like, you got too much silver, you guys got to get rid of it. Jamie Dimon's caught at least 2 RICO charges. I want to say 3, but I know 2 for sure.
2 for sure.
That last one, I don't know if that was a RICO charge or not, or it was just fine.
He paid out. Yes. Okay. So you're right. So he paid out 3 fines. There's 2 RICO charges, and then the other one was a fine.
Anybody in here catch a RICO charge, we doing time in federal state penitentiary.
Y'all see all these little rappers with their RICO charges?
Nobody ain't doing no time over there.
Getting fat.
Dang, bro.
Okay.
That'd be Leavenworth.
Jake Fever can't see Cryptonomics in chat, but let me see Cryptonomics. He's on YouTube. But I own Bitcoin, so I ain't playing the time for money game. Oh,
Jake,
I got you.
sometimes I think Cryptonomics might be on our personal channel, and sometimes
you guys are on the gentleman.
Yeah, you might not be able to see what he's saying in back and forth.
PFC Wells said yes for Fiverr. You make it a higher price than fiat. Oh, I got you. I thought you were talking about Fiverr. So yeah, that way they can get you to pay. You get discount for using, Bitcoin or whatever the crypto is that they prefer. Moissanite diamonds pass. Those are lab made. Yeah, I knew there was some lab made diamonds that did pass. I heard the guy mentioning it, but I'm not familiar with all of that stuff. Not my area of expertise at all.
Yeah, we can go into the beers thing, but
Now,
I ain't gonna go into that. I'm not even gonna
no, don't even talk about the
yeah,
beers.
okay, we ain't gonna go there.
So, cryptonomics, I'm so glad that you mentioned it. If you guys love our content,
Oh yeah, that's what I said.
I'm asking y'all to subscribe to our page. It's in the drop now.
Yeah, he's in the it's
And
hard
if
to
you're
see.
able to watch our show from our page, we would appreciate it. We don't sell y'all anything. We don't ask y'all for no money, but we do appreciate it if you guys are able to watch either from our Facebook page live or from our personal Simon Family Investment Ventures YouTube page. Folks should have been bought. Oh, folks should have bought their silver stacks. You're absolutely right. But it's not too late for you guys to start stacking to dollar cost average. But we're giving you the indicators because we're letting you know now is the best time ever to start your precious metals collection because it is going into scarcity. Hey, what's your page? It's not in the drop down. Okay, that means I'm fired. You're right, it's not in the drop down. I'll make sure it's in the drop down next time. I'm asking y'all to do stuff and it ain't even there. I'll make sure it's in the drop down next time. But if you just go on YouTube and do Simon Family Investment Ventures, we should be the only page that pops up.
Yeah, it's gonna have a variety of things on there. A lot of these, all these videos are on there, but we got some other stuff about
Living in Mexico,
and some,
kids homeschooling and stuff.
yeah, but it might be interesting. Yeah. You never know. But I want to get to the point you wanted to talk about food.
Oh yes, I want to talk about.
That's what I said. You wanted to get to the real life.
So we often talk about life portfolio, right? And right now they've added a new chemical. You should start seeing it in Walmart first, I'm sure, because Walmart also gets subsidies and credits from the U.S. government. Target doesn't, and other supermarkets don't. But you're noticing that if you take a magnet with you to Walmart and you put your magnet on the meats, the magnet sticks to the meats. There's a new chemical they're using called Bovair. It's supposed to change the biome inside of your gut because that's where your health is, your gut health is. And I'm telling you all of this to say we also have to make good food decisions in 2024. And the whole point of attacking the food, right, is if your gut ain't right, your brain isn't thinking properly. Okay, if they can get your gut, get all those little parasites in your gut to say consume, 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 your brain is going to be getting that message all day long, consume, 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 consume. And I'm telling y'all a real thing.
Yeah, because it's always saying that your gut is your second brain.
Your gut is your second brain.
So, and what she's saying is health is wealth, right? So we talk about building wealth and portfolios, but your health is part of your wealth portfolio. So, things like that she's talking about are true. And I see a lot of the food things that go on in the United States. And you go to some of these other places, you got a lot more organic foods.
Well, cheaper. Other countries outright ban that shit, right? So I know that Tokyo, I want to say the city Tokyo in Japan. I don't know if the whole country of Japan has done it, but you will not find any General Mills or any American cereal in Tokyo. They're taking them off the shelves. They're banning it because they have there is some type of dung beetle. It's called shellac that is ground up and they use it for color or whatever they use it for, and Tokyo wasn't having it. So they were calling any type of General Mills cereals and stuff like that off of there. Cryptonomics said don't eat farmed salmon, only buy wild salmon. Agreed, right? Because when they're farmed, they're in tight ecosystems, they're eating their own filth. It's not like when they are wild and they're in fresh running water. I never bought meat from Walmart. Shout out to the farmers, hunters, and fishers, Billion Networks folks. It don't matter if you're here in the States. And it's true. That was PFC Wells who said that. So that's another reason why I read the chat, because I know depending on where you are, sometimes you guys can't see each other's. Yes, I'm saying that there are heavy metals in the meat, and just take a magnet with you and touch the meat.
And and tell them about the problem with that, because here in Mexico, they always say don't drink the water, right?
Because of the metals.
Because
Yeah.
it's metals. People think it's because you might get, sick. What was that called? I can't remember that sickness when you drink water.
You talking about the Montezuma's Revenge?
Yeah, you get that kind of stuff, but it's the heavy metals in there that give you renal failure, right?
So now, what I would really, really, really suggest is do the best you can. If you worry that you have a lot of heavy metals inside of you, chlorophyll is what removes those metals from your body. So celeries, kales, spinaches, and I'm talking like juicing it, cilantro, green apples, anything you can think that are green. I don't think y'all have green tomatoes in the U.S. We have them here.
I'm sure they do.
But anything that you think is green, cook with it, make a salsa with it, drink it, juice it, however you can make it. You definitely want to do a lot of darker green, right? So like when we talk about iceberg, that's just water.
Mostly water.
Y'all know that cauliflower is not found in nature. It doesn't make sense that this plant doesn't have any chlorophyll in it whatsoever. You guys know that yellow sweet corn is lab grown. I don't have to go into all of that, but if you're worried that you may be full of metals, you definitely want to spend, I'm going to say, 45 days doing some type of greenery. Avocados are expensive as hell in the United States, and I don't know why, because they are giving them away here. I mean, I buy bags and bags. I can't even get to all of them sometimes. I have to mash it up and do stuff with it.
Our first house we had here had an avocado tree, and we couldn't eat them fast enough. They just fall into the ground. You take them out, put them in the house, and then we didn't know what else to do with them. Eat them fast. Didn't know what to do with them.
People were developing allergic reactions because we would just eat too much of them. Yeah. Ty, I want to thank you for joining. This is actually my husband. Say hi, Ty.
Hey, what's up?
I'm not going to read the comments. Will, how do you know worry about that?
Oh,
he said he's going to take a magnet. Definitely take a magnet with you and test your meat. He might be thinking you the pretty one. Ask it if you single.
Come on, Ty. Come on, tighten it up. Come on, man.
No, but he's new, so he doesn't know. Might be like a Joe Button podcast where I'm just a random. Wild caught salmon is also a brand. When it says 100% wild caught. Oh, the other thing. I know you guys are used to apple cider vinegar, right? With the mother. I have some horrible, horrible news for y'all. What is Microsoft's name? Bill Gates bought it. That apple cider vinegar with the mother. It's y'all, these seizures be tearing me up. What is the name of the brand?
I can't remember the brand, but he has altered.
Ty in here trolling.
Yeah, he has altered the brand.
He bought it, but it's his apples from a peel that he's using, and you're gonna see when it starts coming out now. It looks like pee. Like, I kid you not. It looks like urine. It's much lighter. Do not buy it. Do not drink it. Do not ingest it. And what they are starting to do now is they're trying to find ways to attack the organic, antiquated ways of time that we're used to. If you're looking for oregano, you might as well just go to Home Depot, go to Lowe's, get the seeds, grow your own oregano, right? Grow it, dry it, do whatever you need to do with it. I would even suggest that for maybe all of your spices, because you don't know what you're getting in the supermarket anymore and who owns the companies. When we started looking at the companies that own food, you would be shocked at how much of it Bill Gates owns. And you ask, why do you own so many food things and why are you trying to kill us? He is on top of his number one agenda is depopulation. He does not mince his words about it. He doesn't hide it. He's not lying about it. He wants to depopulate the world, not just, they say third world countries. United States is first on his list because that's what he has control over right now.
And I wanted to go back to something. I had to go way back. I'm sorry I didn't get it in.
Brags, thank you.
She talked about gut health, being, your gut being your second brain. One thing that I think people need to spend some time doing is fasting. right? That gives your gut, your second brain,
Yes.
a break. And you know, a lot of people don't they think fasting it not just fasting a little bit, and it doesn't have to be long, arduous fast. You know, 72 hours, but would you say 8 hours, 12 hours? That's a
Yeah, I
fast.
mean, the fast can be whatever you dictate it to be for
Mhm.
whatever, reason you are fasting.
Yeah.
It's good to kind of restart your
Oh yeah.
digestive system.
Hmm.
But he said that doesn't really work well until the third day, though,
He
right?
said the 36 hour, 36 hour, you start getting
So this was
getting
he
the
was talking to
benefits.
medical students.
Yeah.
He's some type of bioscientist or what have you, and he was talking to medical students
Hmm.
about the benefits of fasting on the human body. It's also why the Bible talks about it so much.
Hmm.
Go ahead. At the 36th hour,
That's when you start to get human growth hormone production, and human growth hormone. It is what it is. It makes you grow. It helps you grow. It helps
and regenerate cells.
regenerate cells, and it also attacks cancerous cells.
Yes.
Is what we are told from the 36th hour and on, if you can fast that long. And talking about just a water fast. I mean, you can go strict, no, nothing, but just a water fast for 36 hours gives you great benefits.
If you look up, his name is Nuri Muhammad. How do I spell that?
Nuri Muhammad.
N-U-R-I?
N-U-R-I.
N-U-R-I Muhammad. He's part of the Nation of Islam. He's got a lot of great talks about fasting, but he also got the science behind all the ingredients and our favorite fast food restaurants that shouldn't be our favorite restaurants anymore.
Yeah.
I was told that Wendy's is now doing, I think the single with cheese is now $0.01. And it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and then I'm not gonna go off the rails too much because I know people feel a certain way about certain people. But the they have a book called How to Eat to Live, right? Remember we
Still
talked about
Nation
that?
of Islam, though.
Yeah, How to Eat to Live, right? And so by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I know a lot of people have a certain way they feel about him, but the book has great information. And he was saying once you like mastered fasting, you should just eat one day, fast 3 days.
That's what Nuri Muhammad does.
That's all the body needs, is what he's saying, as long as you're not doing some kind of arduous, type of work or something like that. But yeah.
Ty said he was talking to the husband.
Oh,
he's just joking. Brags, thank you, Cryptonomic. Brags, don't buy it. Right? So not only did Bill Gates buy the company, but Katy Perry and her husband have some type of weird hand in it too. Y'all do not mess with that apple cider vinegar.
She was in on it too.
You might as well go get you some Heinz apple cider vinegar. And you get to go. Edeb and L, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy New Year. Let's Square, thank you so much. Cryptonomics, he be on me. His brags.
Yeah.
You live in Arizona. The food here is over the edge. Tell me what you mean by the food here is over the edge in Arizona. When did that happen? PFC Wells, that happened last quarter. So look it up. Bill Gates uses his Appeal company, which makes those apples.
Mhm.
Now I know, and I want when y'all go to the store and you buy those apples, they're putting 100% organic on it. If you see it's a round red circle, it's a sticker. Pull it off, and you're gonna see it say by Appeal. So what they're trying to do now, they are trying to hide it. He's not hiding why he's trying to kill us, but they are trying to hide what the stuff is. They're trying to give it different names. Like I told you, they have that dung beetle that they ground up for color and all of these other weird situations in the food. And it went from shellac to just lac, right? So they keep trying to change. As soon as we get hip to what they're doing with the food, they change it. So you really want to be on top of the ingredients. Here in Mexico, I can't tell you how many things we buy where there's only like 4 ingredients.
Yeah.
It's like water, whatever it is, sugar, and something else. So, you really want to kind of look and see what are the companies. I do know that I went down a rabbit hole when I started trying to check the companies, because this is a shell company. This is a dead company. This is a company that is a zombie company, which is owned by this company, owned by that company. Some of the food is owned by media companies. None of it makes any sense. Bill Gates his companies are the most transparent, but you already know what he up to. So we really want to make good decisions with food this year, best as you can, because their objective is if we can mess with the food, we can mess with the way you think. If you're not feeling well, you're not going to think well. And I'm talking about complicated thought. We're talking about critical thinking. And that's really what it is they're trying to attack. They're doing it in the education system. They are not teaching these children comprehension and critical thinking because they want us to stop with the critical thinking, right? They want questioning, well, if the earth is a spheroid oblong, why is it every time you show us a picture, it's a perfect 360-degree circle? They want us to stop asking all of these questions where we figure this stuff out. So, yeah, definitely stay away from Bragg's. He owns it because it's a safe investment. No, he owns it because he is trying to attack your immune system, Ty, right? So Bill Gates' number one objective is depopulation. He does not hide that. He doesn't mince his words about it. And everybody knows that apple cider vinegar with the mother has been the number one go-to when people's immune systems are not right, when they want to lose weight. What else?
When the pandemic came around,
Right,
they said,
trying to boost your immune system. They know that apple cider vinegar is one of the main ones that people run to. They know cayenne pepper is another one that we run to.
soursop.
Soursop is illegal in the United States.
That's what I heard.
Y'all should ask why. Right,
Yeah.
so soursop is a fruit. It's typically grown in warm weather areas, typically in the Caribbean. It kills cancer cells, like Dr. Sebi already told y'all what it is. The leaves, if you brew the leaves in a tea, it brings down your blood pressure. It's also a natural insulin, so you don't need your metformin or whatever else you're on. You don't need to be taking insulin. It regulates your blood sugar. It is illegal in the United States. There's also something, Dr. Sebi, it's this black stuff. I cannot remember the name of it because I'm not too familiar with it, but Dr. Sebi was talking about it shortly before they killed him. But it has like 19 minerals in it, and you just put a little bit in your food or whatever, and it really boosts your immune system. Your body's able to absorb the minerals and stuff like that, and they killed him.
Yeah. And
Right?
for my people, who students of Dr. Sebi or followers of Dr. Sebi, you catch out a good brother. His name is KT, the Arch Degree. He's a student of Dr. Sebi, so he's got a lot of good game as far as, natural, holistic ways to heal yourself, different foods.
He doesn't
stuff
have
like
a
that.
lot of content, not like his brothers do. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Red Pill and Blue Pill, but that's Red Pill and Blue Pill's brother, KT, the Arch Degree. And he grew up in the Caribbean. He grew up in St. Lucia, one of those saints. And he talks about it, but he doesn't have a significant amount of content.
Not YouTube content. I don't know where he might be.
Cryptonomics is right. Liver cleansing is important. With the fasting, Jake Fever said 36 hours is the reset. That is absolutely correct. Ty said, I can't fast. My temptation is strong. My desire for food is why I live. You may have unregulated blood sugar, right? And what Ty is saying is a real thing. You definitely want to check your blood sugar. It sounds like your blood sugar is high to me. And when your blood sugar is high, you typically crave sugary foods, rich, creamy foods, saucy foods, sodium. You just crave food in general. So you definitely want to check your blood pressure, Ty, and see if you can
Blood
get that
pressure,
not blood sugar, I'm sorry, and get that regulated. It's the whole thing about attacking the source element, limiting people's access to the source element. Absolutely right, PFC Wells. It's the same thing happening in crypto. Look at Ethereum and all the second layer talk. It's the same old one trick pony that they use for multiple things, right? The devil's always used the same 10 tricks, and he uses it for everything. So that's why it's like a 25-ring circus, and you have to be on top of all of these things at the same time. And it can be tiresome. It can be tiresome. You have to watch how you're eating, what you're eating, how you manage your day, how you manage your time, what you're willing to manage your time for. What type of research are we doing? Did we vet these individuals? Are these individuals who know what they're talking about? right? I've got to manage my money. I got to make more money. I got to bring in more revenue. And they know that you're just being hit with everything all at once. So that's why we said we're going to get prepared. It's easier to stay prepared that way. We'll take, one day at a time, but we definitely want to do everything that we do. We want to be low time preference.
No time preference, definitely.
Right? So low time preference with your food, juice, do all of that stuff, your salads, however you can manage it. Low time preference with your precious metals, low time preference with your crypto, always dollar cost averaging to mitigate volatility and the foolishness they try to throw at you in the market, because they manipulate the hell out of that market. They don't let the market run organically at all. Too many people would benefit.
No, of course.
Too many lay people would benefit if they let the market organically move with its ebb and flows.
And one of the things I read, and it might not be possible for everybody, but they're talking about some of the wealthy people, because time is your ultimate asset, right? They talk about outsourcing, and all that means is if you can pay somebody to do something that you don't have to do, go ahead and pay them. Don't I know people like to get out here and cut the grass for 3 hours on a Saturday or something like that.
They might like to drink a beer and cut the grass.
Well, go ahead and out that you get the 3 hours back. You see a lot of wealthy individuals who are high, what'd you say, high earners.
Okay,
you're gonna have a driver so that you can get things done going point A to point B instead of sitting in traffic, beeping the horn.
Yeah, you can work on your stuff in the car. You get a maid to clean up. If you're
outsource some of the things that you
dry cleaning. It's a great outsourcer.
Yeah, so you don't have to spend all weekend washing clothes.
Not just it's the ironing. Yeah. That's the problem.
So they say that they outsource a lot of things to get time back. And there's we never did the show on time theft. It's a really good show. I always said I was.
We're gonna do the show on time theft.
And it's really it's something that was brought up by Robert Breedlove, if you guys are familiar with him.
He's the Bitcoin philosopher.
That's what they call him.
He was mad when she said that.
That's what they call him.
No, you starting. Ty said that's how you know your husband loves you, because he's not eating food so that you're happy. I get to eat all the food if you're not eating it. Will 45 said, "What's up?" It says, as PFC Wells said, have you seen the one with Chick-fil-A and how it looks after a month? No, did you see the one with McDonald's and the lady opened it 7 years later? It was a Big Mac. It looked the same.
Oh, boy.
Over the edge, expensive. Okay, I got you, Ty. He goes to the Dollar Tree to get food. You can buy food at the Dollar Tree now? We don't live in America, Ty. You may not know this. There's a few of you who don't know this.
Noodles and rice and stuff.
But we live in Mexico. We do have a home in Florida that we try to go to just to make sure it's still there. But
she tries. I stick.
He's abandoned it. He's like, I don't care about that house. Ty said, true with the education part. Better get Celtic salt? Is that what you mean, Cryptonomics? Celtic salt?
Yeah, I'm familiar with Celtic salt.
It's homeopathic. PFC Wells said, ooh, that's news to me. I know folks who grow it in Florida. What they growing in Florida? Ty said, I'm a red pill. Okay. Let's square. This health information is good because we are in a fasting period right now for the next 21 days. Let's Square got it. Now, 21 day fast.
That's the real deal right there.
Y'all warriors. I don't do well after day 2. I get hangry. I was just about to say KT's names. Okay, gotcha. They were all stepkids of Sebi. KT has a lot of content. Oh, is that what it is? I'm not looking in all of the places for his content. Okay, gotcha. He said he's got a whole bunch of content on different platforms.
Okay.
Courtney Johnson, hi, sweetheart. It says you can get a discount on silver and gold on J and Bullion if you use crypto. Didn't know that.
Yes, they do that on AppMax as well.
They trying to get all the crypto for themselves. Cryptonomics, yes, CMOS. But Cryptonomics, I don't know if you noticed, but they've been passing out some counterfeit CMOS.
Oh, boy.
Right? There's no substance in it. There's something you do with it and it creates the gel. It's not creating the gel. So it's a counterfeit CMOS. So you be very, very careful in what type of CMOS you're buying. Really, you got to vet that out because they're passing off fake CMOS.
Okay.
He said, let your husband breathe a little. Make him a burger with the beer. He used to love beer. He don't drink it no more.
Good
And
old
we are a
days.
man at the end of the day. I made my husband a big pot of curry today, y'all. All right, because y'all know I'm West Indian. So I made a big pot of curry chicken, best curry chicken you can taste, full of turmeric, full of cayenne pepper. What else do I have in there? Garlic,
Garlic, onions.
like real onions though, like the little shallots.
Yeah.
Scallion.
Potatoes, I suppose.
Oh, and Scotch bonnets, which are habaneros to you guys. Scotch bonnets to West Indians.
Oh yeah, that was a good food.
So I make good food. I cook every day of the week, honey. They say it's going to either cost you time or money. Either way, you're going to have to pay something. He said they outsource it because they rich. Let me tell y'all, our children are our employees, so we ain't outsourcing shit. Sean drives everywhere because mom and dad do run businesses, and we need the time when we're stuck in traffic. We do have a maid, but it's Mexico, right? It don't cost nothing, so that don't count. And that's it.
Yeah, people come cut the grass. I'm not cutting the grass.
Oh, Santiago, he
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
come
not.
with his weed
Them-
whacker to cut
Them
5
days
acres.
is over, man. I'm not cutting no more grass, man. Them days is long gone.
Mexico is lit. We don't grow soursop because we can just buy it at the market. The funny thing is, right, there are like laws, there's not codes. Yeah, it's a code, right? In the law, where if they find you growing soursop, your ass going to jail. So I find that funny now. Are they going to enforce that? I hope not, right? That would really be a race thing. But I don't even think you'd be able to get the seeds because now it's really illegal for you to get the seeds and carry them over geographical lines, right? You have to get the seeds from another country, and you know you can't bring agriculture from another country into your country. That for sure is an absolute no-no. So they've banned that because it's a miracle fruit. Just stop eating all sugar, only fruit. It's tomatoes and avocado. Hi KW1, how you doing? Now the funny thing about sugar is it's refined sugar that's really bad for y'all.
Okay.
I'm not a nutritionist, like I'm telling y'all all this stuff. I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a financial advisor. Y'all know the disclaimer. But mascabado sugar is grown in Guyana. That's a country in South America. It is a sugar your body can properly metabolize. It doesn't taste as sweet as refined sugar, and it has a lot of benefits for you because it comes from the sugar cane. So if you're going to do sugars, you definitely want to do those brown sugars. It's typically a mascabado sugar, and you don't want to do those white, refined, powdered sugars, refined sugar, all of those ridiculous sugars. Definitely look for mascabado. They're going to be the color of your skin. That's how you know it's right? Color of your skin. That's how you know you're right. Mascabado sugar is going to be like this color brown or even darker. Mascabado, it's
You said chew on sugar cane. We do that still?
okay. He don't know how to work technology. I'm his
see.
personal assistant. I'm the tech assistant.
I didn't
I'm the
wanna-
production assistant.
I didn't want to put the glasses on.
Content creator. He muted y'all. What'd you say, babe?
I can't. What about chewing on the sugar cane? That was always healthy.
That was always healthy. But where are they gonna find sugar cane in America?
They sell it at the stores.
Where'd that sugar cane come from?
That I don't know.
See, that's
It's at the
question
stores.
number
It'd be
two.
like wrapped in a.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Uh,
Oh, unless they're getting it from Puerto Rico, that would make sense.
yeah, they might be. In it.
Yeah. But sugar cane, you know, it's good to kind of chew on. The men typically, when they're in the field cutting the sugar cane, they'll chew on it, give them some
Substance.
well, energy.
Energy.
I think sugar cane also has a little bit of natural caffeine in it too. Shared service act for damn near everything. So things like having a main was being offset and scaled down to regular folks thanks to tech. Oh, okay. What is that? Shared services?
Yeah, like
But I mean, like, what kind of was it Craigslist? Because that was the app we had in our generation.
yeah, back in the
You
day.
gonna get somebody sketchy come to your house to move your furniture, or throw some garbage out. It says you got to find the Koreans or the Indian stores for sugarcane, PFC Wells, or in general. Now, I do want to tell you that phenomena, right? So in Florida, we lived in Volusia County, and there was like this whole area where it was nothing but Korean barbecue, right? The nail salon. They own this whole little. It's not as big as a city. I don't even think it's as big as a town, but it's about 3 or 4 city blocks that they just capitalized on. And they had their Korean barbecue and this, that, and the third, but they had their own grocery store. And inside of their own grocery store, they had their own things that they utilized to cook their food that you couldn't find at Publix. You couldn't find that fancy fruit.
Yeah.
Now, fancy fruit was different because I want to say they were Mexican. So they had, the Goya stuff and all of that other stuff that you can't find in Mexico because they don't use that in Mexico. It's crazy. But I say all of those things because really, when you look at the people who are being targeted, it is not concentrated homogeneous ethnicities. It's just Black Americans and white Americans when you start to look at it. Chinatown, they got their own supermarket. If you go into heavy, like Mexican areas, they got their own supermarket. Who else? Indians, they got their own supermarket. They have their own herbs, spices, this, that, the third. It's really like your real Americans who are being targeted with the food. But two, American culture is to eat out too much. Whereas other cultures, I'm West Indian. We are taught to cook. I cook 6 days a week. Thanksgiving size meals for my family. That we don't outsource. I cook. We teach our sons to cook. They're typically my kitchen preps. But, Americans are like, I guess, so busy that it's easier to go out to eat. My girlfriend tells me all the time, it's hard to cook for 2 people. She eats every meal out every day of the week with her husband.
Well, people outright say, I don't know how to cook.
There's that too.
It's just like, okay.
Oh, Task Rabbit, DoorDash. Well, yeah, DoorDash. Yeah. I got you because DoorDash is more than just food. Got it. I'm fasting because of you. I start next week, Todd said. Muscovado sugar gets its nutrients from molasses. You got molasses. Oh, good. You got the best of both worlds then. Big facts. Kmart. There's a number of things I go in there for that you won't find in Publix. Kmart's still in business?
Where's Kmart open there?
I thought they went out of business, PFC Wells. I didn't know they were still in business. All them cultured food markets stink. And the food is nasty, JP.
They do. I would never. That's why I was looking at her when she was talking about the Korean grocery store. I was like, I'm cool on that.
But they have. My point is, though, they have their own supermarket. They are not buying or eating what we are eating.
We used to go to the West Indian supermarket.
Okay, so yes, right on 50 in Florida.
Yeah.
They had Guyana. Guyana had its own supermarket, but it could have been better.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff that you can't have in the United States that we grow in Guyana, right? Especially the spices and stuff, the type of fish, bangamari and all of that stuff. I can get a lot of that stuff here. You couldn't get sorrel there.
I don't remember getting sorrel.
No, you couldn't get it there.
Why not?
You can get it here.
Why not?
I don't know.
Biscuits.
I was thinking about fasting, but this really helped me move forward with the decision. I'm glad. But the whole point of making these decisions is because, like I said, they're trying to attack your immune system with more than just viruses. And they know that the best way to attack your immune system outside of just making a virus in the lab is to attack your food sources. And I think either PFC Wells or Cryptonomics had mentioned that in the chat earlier.
And remember, Dr. Sebi told you one of the most dangerous things to the body is mucus, right? Mucus. So when you fast, you give your body a break from the mucus, right?
Yes, it's the mucus that's going to kill you.
Yeah, mucus really gets you.
PFC Wells said he meant the Korean market, not American Kmart.
I thought
I
Kmart
thought Kmart went out of business, but yeah. In the Korean market, some people go to like Chinatown and get their stuff from their markets and stuff. But whether those supermarkets stink or not, Jake Fever, you might be able to get seasonings and stuff there that are from source, and they're not tampered with. They're not, you know what I'm saying? Because they get it from a different source than Publix gets their stuff from. It says, read the book, The 4-Hour Diet. It's a great short read about health and really beneficial for the new year. The 4-Hour Diet. So Jake Fever is suggesting a book called The 4-Hour Diet. Go ahead and Google that. He said it's a short read, and it's about getting, a good beneficial start to your new year. But like we're saying, we're telling you all of this, and we're going through all of this information is because if you can get your gut diet in order, critical thinking is easy breezy.
Yeah.
Right? You can see the bullshit before it even hit the fan. Do you guys know who Yahiki Awakening? Hi, Don Shelby. Thank you so much for joining us. I am not familiar with Yahiki Awakening. I'm not familiar with that at all. Oh, Jake Fever said correction. It is the 4-Hour Body. That is the name of the short read. So you guys can Google the 4-Hour Body. It's a short read. It'll help you get your body in order for the new year. 2, while we're talking about the new year, y'all know the new year is really in March, right? When spring starts. This new year is the man-made up one for nefarious reasons, but I'm just saying, while we talking about new year, y'all know the new year is when spring starts, not in the time of death.
There you go.
Oh, Yaki. Oh, he's a herbalist. Oh, is Yaki the black dude with the locks? He's kind of short. He do all of the juicing and stuff. I think I might know who you're talking about, but I don't know if that's his name. I'm getting the TikTok shorts, so I never get like what the guy's name is. So I want to see if Don Shelby gonna confirm that for me.
I have to look him up.
Yes, that dude knows his stuff. Okay, I never knew what his name was. He's a short black dude. He got locks, but he do lectures. I'm just getting the TikToks. Nobody ever puts
what his name is.
Yeah. And I watched his TikTok today, by the way. Somebody had a heart attack at 21, had erectile dysfunction. The blood was thickened or something weird, and told him to get 7 green apples, a stalk of celery with the leaves, cilantro, parsley.
It's all green, yeah.
But I'm missing something. And like 4 cups of water. And he was just explaining like the cilantro is going to get the metals out of your system. The celery is going to open up the tubules in order to thin the blood, because the blood was kind of thickened, probably from high blood sugar. The apples are supposed to do this, but it really was to evacuate all of the heavy metals out of the person's body. But yes, I think if that's the dude, yes, yep, that's him with the locks. That's a scientist. He is a scientist. Like, he knows anatomy and physiology like I've never seen before, and I'm sure he's not classically trained. Jake Fever, I drink liquor, so I can't judge nobody. Now, Jake Fever, do you drink tequila? Because I'll tell you a little story about tequila and why Mexicans use tequila. Fact is, the U.S. system is changing the food, removing its melanin, because that's what makes us sick. Another great source is Dr. Bobby Price. I think I'm familiar with Dr. Bobby Price. But Jake Fever, in Mexico, they use a plant called agave. Many of you may know this, you may not know this. Agave is actually aloe's cousin. So it looks like a big, gigantic aloe plant. And that's what makes tequila. The agave has so many benefits. So don't drink 2 liters of tequila a day, right? Just have a few shots. But it will bring your blood pressure down. It will bring your blood sugar down a little bit.
It's an appetite suppressant.
It has an appetite suppressant. There was a few other benefits.
Well, it's just, does it have, like, if you drink rum, comes from sugar cane.
Oh no, that's gonna kill you.
So,
Don't
yeah,
drink the
so
rum,
rum,
y'all.
you know,
Don't
so
drink rum.
I know a lot of people like to drink rum and stuff. And yeah, agave. It's a very
Yes,
healthy drink.
cryptonomics tequila, especially tequila. If it says Jalisco, brewed in Jalisco, because they have what's called a blue agave, and that's a bit more rare, and it has a lot more benefits. But it's aloe vera's cousin. And again, right, don't drink the whole liter, y'all. But
Okay.
if you took like 2 or 3 shots a day, maybe one in the morning, one before you go to sleep at night or whatever, it does have great benefits.
And also because it's made from agave, it's alcohol called mezcal.
Ooh, mezcal's rough, y'all.
MEZCAL. It's made from
It's rough.
it's made from agave as well.
It is, but it's like 190% proof. That's the problem.
It's a little
What
stronger.
is it? 50% proof?
Yeah, it's a little-
62% proof?
It's a little stronger, but you know, if you
That's for when y'all don't feel good and you want to make the hottie toddy, then
Yeah,
you use the
there you go,
mezcal.
yeah.
But don't be drinking that before you go to bed.
I had never heard of it until I came to Mexico. So I don't know if you could buy mezcal, you know. I'm sure you could.
PFC Wells, I don't know. Like when I say it's Aloe's cousin, right? If I had a cousin and she was sitting here, she's a completely different person. Yes, she may be able to give me a kidney if I need one, but she's a completely different person. So the agave is a completely different plant from the aloe vera. It's just that they have a few genes that are similar. So I don't know that you can make a variation of moonshine with your aloe plants. Try to get the agave.
Yeah.
Say that again about blood pressure. Let freedom ring. Hi, let freedom ring. Thank you so much for joining us. So we were saying that give me that bottle of tequila.
Does it have agave? It don't have agave on it.
It doesn't have agave on it. It's Romero, though. We know it comes from agave. It does. Yes, it does.
Well, I don't think
It says agave right here, y'all.
I don't know if they'll be able to see it.
Okay. So y'all see right here, it says agave azul. It's the blue agave, right? And he fasts a lot, so he will take a shot in the morning. He'll take a shot in the evening. Sometimes he'll sip it like not a cognac, because it's not a cognac, but he'll sip it like someone sips cognac. And it brings down your blood pressure. If you don't have aspirin, remember that time I had the headache and you got my blood pressure, it'll bring down your blood pressure. It'll bring down your blood sugar. It has an appetite suppressant in it. It also has a few minerals in it because it is aloe's cousin. So it does have benefits to it. Did somebody say Patron? Let me see. Wait, what? Oh, Fort Azalea is my favorite tequila. I drink for money too. Jake Fever. See if your tequila has blue agave in it. It's a little strong, he says. Agave tequila. We can only get that in Mexico. No, Cryptonomics, you should be able to get, it's going to be expensive in the U.S., but you should be able to get blue agave in United States. Let me tell y'all.
1,800, all that stuff is,
man,
that's expensive.
I went home to visit my mom. Simon used to drink something called Hornitos. Y'all should be familiar with that. It don't cost nothing here. I think it was like $7 for a liter. I went to the United States thinking I was gonna buy one. It was like 40-something dollars.
Because it's made here, you know, so.
It was 7 times, and that was 2 years ago.
I wouldn't buy it now.
It's crazy, but you should be able to get it. PFC Wells, I was joking, not telling anyone to mess with moonshine. Yeah, I wouldn't mess with the moonshine. Now, I will tell you, we used to go to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Simon used to take me there because I need to go to the mountains and stuff like that. It's before we moved to a mountain. And the Food Lion used to have the moonshine in it, remember?
Oh, yeah.
But sometimes then the moonshine, they had different, it'll tell you, like some moonshines will tell you, here are the benefits of it, the whole mason jar, but take like a shot. You know, little go a long way, y'all. Little go a long way. Oh, the brand of tequila we showed you probably won't get in the U.S. It's called Romero. Definitely a local Mexican tequila. Viuda de Romero. So I don't know if this has got the black spider on it. I don't know if they have this in the United States, but y'all got Hornitos. You have
Definitely got Don Julio, 1,800.
Don Julio.
I don't drink those.
1,800, but what's the one that everybody drinks?
He said Patron.
Jose Cuervo?
Oh, Jose Cuervo.
I thought somebody said Patron. They didn't. He said Fort Azalea. It definitely has blue agave. There you go. You got it. The best tequila, additive free. It's hard to get though, but it's water here. Unfortunately, Jay, come visit us. I'll send you home, ready to go. Cryptonomics.
Hydration.
Pants? I don't know what that means. Michael Kent, thank you for joining us. Where are you? Oh, we're in a place called Ishlawaka Brown. It is outside of Toluca, which is the second largest city?
In the state.
In the state.
It's the
It's
second
the
largest
second largest city in the state.
Mhm.
So we're about an hour and a half away from Mexico City, and we're 40 minutes away from Toluca. I live in what we call the bush.
Middle of nowhere, y'all.
I'm a cowgirl. We have cows. We have sheep. We have little baby goats. I don't like adult goats. When they get older, we give them away. They're mean. That's all we have is cows, sheep, and goats. We don't have nothing else, right?
Nah, I was trying
And
to
two
get,
doggies.
I was trying to get some chickens, but she don't want them.
No, chickens are mean, y'all.
Get some
Chickens are
turkey,
mean.
something.
Now,
Turkey.
Bam comes on here all the time. Y'all know I promote Bam. Bam Hardrick. If you look for him on Facebook, it's Hardrick. Bam Hardrick. Him and his wife have an organic like nursery. They have hens, they have chickens, they sell eggs. I think they're in Texas, and it's just an incredible journey if that's something y'all are interested in. I won't eat our animals because we've named them. And my baby goes out there. Y'all know the 6-year-old with the wild hair, little scientist hair. He goes to visit them when they come and they feed on our land. I don't have like around Christmas time is when we're supposed to slaughter them. I don't have it in me to do that. So we just have them just to have them. I think it's nice to have that type of life, grazing. To me, it's also very biblical because we have a lot of lambs. So makes me feel like I'm back in the Bible days. Les Square said, you both are extremely knowledgeable and I appreciate you sharing. It means a lot. Oh, thank you. Les Square, let me tell you, everything we talk about comes from experience.
Oh,
And
okay.
understand that experience is both good and can be absolutely terrible. So look at his face. It's been a ride. It's been a ride. Cryptonomics said he got a whole bunch of bodegas. Where you live in New York, Cryptonomics? Yeah, that's a New York term, bodega. Food Debonair, Food Lions were in Virginia when you were coming up, huge in the 70s and 80s. I think that Food Lion in Gatlinburg is like the last one. I still have my little key thing for it.
Yeah, the
My points that expired 6 years ago. Michael Kent said,
It's like-
cool.
That's like key food, huh?
AZ was a thief in key food. If you know, you know. He dislikes Patron. No, tequilas taste different.
Yeah, he does.
If you ever come visit us, if you know, you know, we will take you on a tequila tasting journey.
Yeah.
It's not as classy as wine, unfortunately, but it's a lot more fun.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Patron.
I'm not a big fan of wine.
No, I'm saying Patron.
I like Patron.
As much as it costs to the way it tastes. It's
Yeah,
just-
but I'm
it's- I
talking
don't
like
it.
a shot, right? Like I'm not gonna, that bottle would sit here for years before it ever got finished if I had one. But the tequila that he drinks, like that Romero, it's strong to me, right? If you like it, it slows you down. It's not smooth like Setenta, like Don Julio Setenta, that can get away from you, right? So you don't want to do that. But this, it has a nice, it kind of slows you down. It almost feels medicinal, kind of like, it doesn't taste like apple cider vinegar, but I'm saying like how apple cider vinegar, you just feel like, I feel like I'm healthy again. You take the shot in the morning, you take the shot at night, and you feel really good. And like I said, instead of taking aspirin or whatever, if you're having a blood pressure headache, it'll bring your blood pressure down in a more natural way.
Yeah.
You'll be thirsty, but headbutting you, laugh out loud, taste. Food Lion chain was huge in VA. Yep.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be good at raising animals that eat. Well, we live on like 5 acres of prairie grass, so they eat the natural. We live on a mountain, which might be a pyramid, but we're waiting to see if that's true. The mountain above us is a pyramid, and there's a monastery that protects the pyramid. So the ley lines that run through here also give us energy. Like, these are the things that I'm telling y'all are important. They help us to make decisions. They help us to be more methodical, be more strategic, because everything's working in concert with each other. That's why we tell y'all, if y'all get to travel outside of U.S. airspace, do it.
Yeah. And like I always say, go to don't just go to tourist areas. Like get out amongst the people. That's where you really see the biggest benefits.
Yeah.
Even cost wise.
I say go to mountains because
Well, yeah, but every place doesn't. But like
high level.
if you go to like, for example, a lot of people like to go to Medellin, right? Medellin, and what's the other spot I went to? Bogota. But if you get in the middle of Colombia, it's not the same. It's not all that. There's a lot of crime going on.
Yeah,
in
kind of
places
like when we went to El Salvador.
Yeah, El Salvador. So in the middle of San Salvador is the capital. But if you get out and about where Bitcoin City is,
It's
Bitcoin
quiet.
Beach.
Where the beach is a little tumultuous. For those of you who have never experienced Bitcoin Beach, it's a surfer's beach, right? So you definitely want to be an excellent swimmer if that's what you're trying to do, and you definitely want to be somewhat professional or semi-professional surfer if that's not something to try.
And if you're there with children, it's not a beach with children.
It's not a beach for children to
frolic and play.
But the environment, you're in what we call an egregore. Everybody is feeling the same way about crypto. You're feeling the same way about getting your finances in order. Even if you just kind of sat at one of the tables where they're serving food, and you got your plan together, you got your notebook out. It's just a great, I think, ecosystem environment to be in. People are going to talk to you about crypto. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? This is what I heard. They're going to share information. And it's a lot bigger than when we went 2 years ago. They were just getting it together when we went 2 years ago.
And they got other ones in right there in LATAM, with Latin America. They got the
Costa Rica.
So Costa Rica is Bitcoin jungle, I believe. And that's in Dominical. It's a place we used to live probably 10 years ago, Dominical. Once again, a great beach, but
that's not that kind of beach.
No,
it's not.
No, it's for professionals.
Yeah, it's
right?
not Miami Beach.
So, but yeah, it's a great place. A lot of expats there. A lot of nice people. They have another one in Honduras, right? And so that would be Bitcoin.
Don't try to remember
Valley.
all of the
That's Bitcoin Valley.
the Bitcoin tags. But remember when we were in El Salvador, they were talking about using volcanic energy.
Yeah, so they're using geothermal energy to mine Bitcoin. And then they're going to sell these
like bonds?
Volcanic bonds is what they're called. They're going to sell volcanic bonds so that you can get a guaranteed return on without having the volatility of Bitcoin. So if you wanted to play it safer.
Yeah, don't eat anything you've named. That's PFC well.
Okay.
But we never heard anything else. I thought the volcanic, I thought that was going to be something big. And then we never heard anything else about it.
I think he's taking his time getting stuff done.
Okay. Yeah, because he did get a lot of, he got beat up. Yeah.
Remember when Bitcoin hit 42,000 and he talked about how much return he had made on his initial investment, then he made, because everybody was on him, thinking he had lost money.
And he gets the last laugh.
And this is the
all the way to
this is their what do you call it? I'm sorry, I'm losing. Voting year. Sorry, y'all. This is the year for the vote for president. So Bukele 2024 is the tag, and he'll probably be president again.
Definitely. They're in the black.
And he's a young man, he's only 41 or 42. So he's more forward thinking. And we got these presidents. Where are we at? How old are our president? 81?
I don't even think. I think our president's a Weekend at Bernie's situation. Like, I don't even know. What about mining? So somebody asked this before. Thank you for joining us, Rob Jet Life. I thought it was you who asked this, but maybe a similar handle. So if you're going to mine your own Bitcoin, you have to understand I'm going to call it the risks that go with it, right? You would have to really sit down and map out, are you going to be solvent after you pay your energy bill? Are you in an energy efficient situation? Who is your energy provider?
A lot of people, so I don't know if you guys remember this, but a lot of people were in the outskirts, the bush of China, because they got a lot of runoff. And so they got a lot of hydro power, a lot of free hydropower. And so but then Chinese, they came up with and they forced everybody out. You've seen a lot of Bitcoin miners move to Texas because they have very low energy costs. So if you
And I
find,
think it has to do with that market provider, right there.
yeah, but if you have low energy costs, but also remember the technicals in mining, because it, you have your mining rigs, you got to keep them cool,
Yeah.
dark.
Do you have the environment? Do
Yeah.
you have the scale up ability in order to maintain your mining rigs?
Mhm.
So you really want to kind of, count the cost, as we would say, count the
Yeah.
cost and see, when I do all of this, the Bitcoin that I'm getting, is it worth it? Or is it just easier for me to dollar cost average it and call it a day?
Right, because you're gonna have a lot of tough competition in mining,
Yeah.
because people have scaled up so far. They got
And they've
big
been
mining.
in from day one.
Yeah, Cat's been mining for a long time, especially down in Texas. You see a lot of people moving to Texas. A lot of people in the Austin region. I guess Austin's the new hotbed for people to move.
Man, are they running that market price up?
Mhm.
And North Carolina, somebody wrote on my timeline, please don't nobody else move to North Carolina.
You really like that.
Y'all running up the rent. Latin America is about to get real competitive to be one of the top 5 economic hubs for the region. You're absolutely
And
correct.
so let me jump. Who said that?
PFC Wells.
Let me jump in. If you listen to President Bukele, he said he was trying to turn El Salvador into this side of the earth's Singapore or
Yep,
UAE.
yep.
So if you guys are old enough to remember, do you remember what a shithole, excuse my language, Singapore used to be back in the day?
Before they made it fly.
Yeah, they made it fly.
Dubai was like that.
Exactly. And so he's saying we're trying to turn El Salvador into the next Dubai and Singapore. So you're right. It's going to be very competitive, and everybody has to keep up with what he's doing.
What was the name of the term you used? And I'm putting you on the spot because you may not remember.
Oh, wow.
But it's like when you start something, you set the precedence and it catches. There was a term for that.
Oh, game theory.
There we
people,
go, game
people
theory.
have to do because you did it, and
Mhm.
they don't want to get left behind. So it's like, well, we better
The
do
fear
it
of
too.
missing out.
Yeah. Game theory. He's going to put game theory all through LATAM.
So Rob Jet Life said that all the new rigs are already sold out. Wow. That was supposed to be sold for this year. So, it's a very competitive
It's a very
thing.
competitive space.
But too, again, you still have to sit down and count the cost, right? Because some people, unfortunately, they don't count the cost up front and they don't realize that.
It may take a while to get profitable.
Yeah.
Maybe.
They're in the hole for a while before they get somewhere.
Definitely.
Black period say, hey family, I hope I said that right. Perry dot. There we go. Black Perry dot.
Black dot.
PFC Wells. Bukele is not. PFC Wells, can I just get you to be on the show just for a day? You got so much information. And I didn't get to look at your information yet, so I'm gonna look at the information. Is not the current president for El Salvador. He used the loophole to step down so he could rerun for president. So who's the current president? It's the interim president?
Why? Because you only get 4 years and you have to step down?
Probably. I don't know.
Well, he'll win again. If
He
that's
is
what he
gonna
did,
run
he'll
again.
win again.
Happy New Year, Black Perry Dot. We want to thank all of y'all for joining us. Of course, we always keep y'all too long with all of our banter. I'm telling you, I know he got all the information. I'm gonna keep. I'm gonna send you a beautiful gift if you just come
Last
on.
article I read, they said President Bukele. So that's what it said, President Bukele.
Because
they were talking about the visa they're giving out,
it's Latin America.
the $1 million visa. If you got $1 million worth of Bitcoin, you get that visa over there in El
The
Salvador.
president here in Mexico been the president since we got here. Shouldn't they have had a president change?
I don't know.
I don't see anybody running for
I don't
anything.
know.
How long is he president? We've been here for almost 8 years now. But PFC Wells be having great information. Cryptonomics has great information. Jake Fever be having the funniest
He's
comments.
supposed to email us.
Ty was hilarious too. I hope Ty comes back. Ty was making me laugh. Eating up all of hubby's food. But we definitely want y'all to make good food choices. On a serious note, make good food choices this year. Talk to your friends and family. If they're not listening, don't talk to that one. But talk to those who seem receptive to what you're telling them. Also, when we talk about sugars, one of the things that kind of throw people off too are certain juices.
This is true.
Right? People think vitamin water still has vitamins in it. It doesn't. This is lemonade that I made from scratch. I just needed the bottle.
And
and
one of the things I will say is that I know in the United States it's very costly to eat healthy.
It
And
is.
so it's a deterrent.
It's a deterrent, and they do that on purpose.
Where in a place like here, Mexico, it's not costly to eat healthy, so it almost makes you want to do it. Like, oh, we go down and what, get a couple pineapples, watermelon, this and that. Don't cost more than $2-3. And
but then there's the labor in, right, because he eats a lot of fruit, so like I have to cut the rinds off, cut the fruit up. Sometimes he likes his fruit juice. You're going in there, you gotta like, he doesn't like pulp. Well, you don't care about the pulp.
No, pulp don't bother me.
I don't like the pulp, so I tried to take the pulp out of there. But there's also like people don't have the prep time, right, to cut the rind off the watermelon, cut the rind off the pineapple, cut up this, cut up that, cut up the third, clean up the area. So people are also, to me, deterred in the actual prep of it.
Yeah, and there's no Whole Foods. We just go to the local market.
Yeah.
I've been here. I don't know how long we've been here. Long enough. But since we've been here, I probably lost 60 pounds. And she's lost, what, 35?
35, 40.
Yeah. And that's not like by changing, working out harder.
Just by
running,
eating better.
Just eating better.
Just eating better.
And it's like...
Two, they make something here called agua frescas that I would absolutely implore you guys to do. When you get your fruit, if you just blend the fruit up with some water, they use mascabado sugar. You don't have to put sugar in it if you don't want to, right? You can drink it just like that. And it's refreshing. You just drink it all day long, right? This just happens to be lime today, limon. And I have a whole big jug of it downstairs. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to make for him probably sandia, watermelon in English.
My favorite.
And his watermelon has seeds in it. It look crazy when y'all be cutting this up on TikTok and there's not a seed in the watermelon. That looks absolutely crazy to me. Juice watermelon is the bomb, and you can add it with other natural juices. Yeah. Okay. Sometimes he likes the little exotic. I call it punchy de fruta, but other times he'd be like, just do the one. Yesterday you had watermelon and pineapple.
Yeah.
The only thing is I noticed the plums here. The plums are never in season. That's weird. We still eat them. I don't know why we eat them, but the plums are never in season here. Oranges here are green. It looks crazy, right? You open it and it's orange, and that's what the oranges look like. Instead of buying orange juice from concentrate, buy oranges and just squeeze it yourself and drink that.
They still got the leaf on it, like it was just snatched right off the tree. And those are great.
Yeah, fruit, vegetables here, they're not beautiful like they are at Whole Foods and aesthetically pleasing, right? You can tell this hit the ground. Dense. Nothing's perfect. Things are not the same color. Things are off color, half color.
Especially like when you get peppers, they're like tricolored.
They're tricolored,
like a little red, little orange.
Right. You don't know what color it's going to be. A lot of times they're dirty. You have to come home and wash the black soil off of it. But that's usually my test, right? I like to see the black soil all over especially the vegetables, because those typically come from the ground. The potatoes and stuff like that. It just gives you a good measure on this is something that's probably going to be good for me. There is still a measure of minerals here in the soil in Mexico. So if you see your fruit is imported from Mexico, definitely buy that fruit. Definitely buy those vegetables. Same in Costa Rica. I've been here 6 years and lost a lot of weight. We used to live in Costa Rica. We used to live in Dominical. Where are you located? And thank you for joining us, Unplugged Soul.
Yeah, Dominical is, I don't know if I give a better, it's a little bit past, what is it, Samuel Antonio?
You talking about Dominical?
Yeah, it's a little past there, and it's before Uvita.
Uvita.
And so I don't know if that gives you a more, it's about 4 hours from the airport, though.
Well, Pura Vida, Unplugged Soul.
Yeah, Pura Vida.
Black Paradise said, who's tracking the efforts by the R state to control the hydroelectric dam in Ethiopia for mining? I'm not aware of all of the details for that, but I'm gonna look into it. Sometimes we don't get good information because information's censored. It's this, it's that, it's the third. It's not properly vetted, but we are gonna definitely look into it to see if we can get some more information and details.
So in Ethiopia,
they have the contract to build a mining facility that will connect directly to the dam, but you still want the information.
Wow,
I want the
that's
details.
Interesting though.
Because that's a resource. Somebody's gonna
Somebody's gonna benefit
Just
off of that.
somebody gonna want to just fight for it.
You know who's gonna benefit from
taking
it
it.
because even with the Belt Road Initiative, China has a lot of that land down there.
Oh, I'm glad you said China.
Belt Road Initiative.
So y'all know, right? Because we're talking about health. New York City is rampant with this new variant, right? Rampant. And I got a whole bunch of articles that said that they're really, really sick in the more dense areas of China with that same exact variant. So I find it odd, right? That China and New York, which are millions of miles away, have the same exact problem. Two, they're saying that it is. You were listening earlier today when they said that the antibiotics aren't working, especially on small children, even in IV antibiotics. So we're talking Vanc, Gent, like that's not working.
You're in trouble if those don't work.
So you definitely, if you guys live in the New York area, if you just travel to the New York area, if you're traveling anywhere, because typically a New Yorker will be traveling as well, please, please, please keep your immune system up. Take whatever precautions you need to take. And keep that in mind because they're looking for an excuse to really lock stuff down again. Yeah, and they're big on the Ethereum Ethiopia. Yeah, they are.
Okay.
Yeah, they are.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ethiopia got the original Ark of the Covenant.
Mm-hmm.
They got the church. They got the Bible. I know they got it.
Ethiopia got the game. If you guys I don't know if you guys are familiar with Paxil. Is it Paxil?
I don't even know what we
Oh man, I don't know, man. You guys correct me, but it's like it's a cryptocurrency service over there that you can make payments within Africa, and so they were working their way.
Nigeria had one. Yeah.
But I think it was Paxil, if I'm saying it right, and they're making their way over to that part of Africa because they started over, like you said, Nigeria, Ghana, kind of moved up to Egypt, and now they're trying to get over there to Ethiopia, Somalia, and in those areas over there.
Oh, they go to Chief.
Uh-oh.
We're about to get off too. Yeah, I don't know how we come up with these new variants all the time.
I got an article I was sitting on for the Chief the whole time.
Hi, Chief.
Hey, y'all. Happy New Year. Sorry about that.
Happy New Year.
I'm sure Bill Gates got something to do with it, Cryptonomics, because his name is on all of the patents. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
PFC Wells, tell me a little bit more about what you saw with the information on the topsoil. Are they trying to replicate how GMO seeds pollinate? Because Mexico is big on not utilizing GMO. I know the president was big on, he didn't want that in this country. At least that's what he said, but you know how that go. And I live in the bush, so I don't live in Mexico City, where that may fly in Mexico City. Here, you can see where they grow the stuff. You can see the farms and
you got
when they harvest
some of these
stuff.
cities, like the big cities like that, man. We call food deserts.
Where they may be imported.
Yeah, it's hard to find like just fresh fruits and vegetables, and you get out like a little bit, like we say, the bush. So the thing about Mexico and a lot of these countries down in Latin America, they don't have suburbs. So you go straight from a densely populated city to like out to farmland, and there's no in between. And so that makes a lot of people want to stay in the city because it just has more creature comforts. And because when you get out here, it's different. Like you're on the farm.
You gotta go to the market
stuff.
every day.
You gotta do different stuff, man.
I cook every day.
Yeah,
There's no McDonald's. There's no fast food restaurants at all for 40 minutes. So like McDonald's, Burger King, Carl's Jr., Krispy Kreme, we have to drive 40 minutes away if we even wanted something like that. Here it's like tacos, restaurants that serve like meals. You can get hamburgers and stuff, but they're like real meat. French fries you see them in the back with the potatoes going through the thing.
Real meat.
It's very, very natural here where we live in the bush. Black Paradise said, "What up, Chief?"
Yeah, what's up, y'all?
I saved the article for you, Chief. I was waiting the whole time for you. I wanted to read it early, but I wanted you to be here.
Go ahead, man. My bad.
So I got to catch this article this morning, I think. So XRP ETF may be on the cards as Grayscale sponsors XRP price displays together with Bitcoin. So I didn't know if you had heard about that.
Yeah, that came out a few days ago.
Is that a good look for XRP to have a ETF?
Man, it's a good look for all these assets, any asset to have an ETF. It just means that it's going to be institutional money pumped into it. So, I mean,
So what?
yeah, I mean, it'll look good for XRP and the whole industry. I mean,
So
you
what I
know,
always understood is, and tell me if this is right. I always understood with Grayscale, because I have been dealing with Grayscale for a long time, that what they did is they gave larger institutions exposure to things like Bitcoin, Ethereum until they can get the okay through through their board
through
or
the
whatever.
regulatory agencies. Yeah.
Yeah, so now a larger institution could get large scale exposure to XRP until, like you said, the regulatory institutions okay.
Yeah. Well, they could have been had, right after this past summer when it was deemed not a security by the courts. They could have started, but they wanted to make sure that the SEC wasn't going to appeal and all of that shit, which it don't look like they are anyway. It was just
They just dragging
it was
shit out, man. Them fools dragging stuff out all the
They
time.
ain't got
man.
nothing
Well,
left to appeal.
no, just you got to look at it with clear eyes, man. The reason why that was done was because if you're going to use an asset like that for another monetary settlement system, then it has to be vetted, like vetted, because it has the potential to change the whole landscape of monetary policy as we know it, as far as international settlements, local settlements, all of that. The way that we actually view money is changing. I mean,
But they can't figure out how they can put their little grimy hands on it and control it. That's
well,
the
that's
problem.
that's what it is. Banks know now that they have to partner with the private sector in order to get out of the situation that they're in with printing all this money. Okay. They know that banks are not innovators at all.
No,
Banks,
no,
they don't
they
innovate
old white
shit.
man.
They usually take somebody else's information, they buy it or they partner with them, and then they use it in order to make some type of profit. But with the private sector, they already then said it. I mean, it's a bunch of stuff on YouTube and on the internet that nobody is privy to, because who thinks to listen to stuff like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it can be dry.
Yeah, it's dry, and you don't think about listening to a regulatory authority or a monetary authority or a group of people that make policy when it comes to finance. The fintech era, the financial technology area. Nobody looks at that like, oh, let me go watch this video on that shit. Ain't nobody looking at that. But I mean, it's the reason why it's been so long is because they knew that, hey, they've been knowing it for years. That's why I sent y'all that chart earlier today. What was it? It's the
I got it right here.
Yeah, it's the coin market cap back in 2013. If y'all do a little bit of, just search. What did I search? I searched
It was weird. I don't know if it played.
What is it on Messenger, baby?
Yeah, because it had a satellite on it. I couldn't get it to play or something.
Yeah, it's not a satellite. That's a
telescope. I'm sorry.
Glasses.
There's no preview available yet. Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, you click on it, it'll open up. It's just a web page. It's coin market cap, and it's just the all it is the hold on. Earlier today.
His personal assistant got to get that.
It's just a historical snapshot from 2013. And it'll tell you it was before Ethereum was even listed on any exchange. I mean, people, they get fudded and they get told about stuff and they don't do any research. And then they realize after the fact that, it's something that's been out here and that ain't going nowhere. It's been in the top 5 assets the whole time since it's been out. It was created in 2012, got listed in late 2012, early 2013, and it was created. It wasn't created for retail, wasn't created for us. It was created for big institution and governments, and it was created for the
But they
liquidity
be so
problem.
slow in adopting it, and it's when they see us like, wait a minute, there's a wealth transfer happening down at the
Yeah,
bottom. I don't like that. Then they're like, oh, we need to look into this immediately.
yeah.
That's how
What
they
I
roll.
mean, the people in the know already knew about it. It was just like I said, they started out. They Bitcoin was the first one to go. Think about it. When it comes to retail adoption, you gotta we the test case, we the test dummies, man. We in the car, we got that little caution thing on us, the test dummies when they crash the cars. That's what we are. That's all we are. And now that they know that we are the majority of the people that's in this space are willing to mess with these digital assets, then they're gonna put it on everybody. And what it is, they know that some people it's gonna be hard to adopt. That's why they're gonna keep the regular financial rails, and everything is gonna be running parallel until a certain time. Then after that certain time, the regular financial rails that's on right now is gonna just be totally digitized or either go bye-bye. And then it'll be all digital all the time. You do everything through your phone. It'll really won't be too much need to go into a financial institution unless you're doing some other things or
But
something
it's
else.
funny that you say that, Grizz, because United States is digitized. Countries outside the U.S.
Well,
they don't
yeah,
even have.
no, think about it. Yes, they are. If they got a cell phone, they digitized. I mean, the
You have
infrastructure
no
was deep.
idea what you're saying. I'm telling you, yes, they have a cell phone. They know how to use WhatsApp. They
Yeah,
know how to use Facebook. Some of
yeah.
these, the majority of the country doesn't have a third grade education, right?
Okay.
Do you know how
But
often I go to, wait a second, how often I go to an ATM and I have a little old Mexican lady say, por favor, ayúdame. She's asking me to help her. She don't care about giving me her PIN. She just needs me to help her get the money out the machine because she can't read.
yeah. So that right there, the education piece is something that can't be helped. If you didn't get educated or if you don't have the means to get educated, then that's like I said, some people are gonna fall through the cracks, man. It's just
A
it
lot of
is.
that, I was just saying, like the way this country is made up, because it's a continuous cycle, right? The kids
Yeah.
have to drop out of school to help the family with their business. They don't have cash registers, and like they're not used to. So I'm just curious as to how it's gonna look for countries that are not the U.S.,
It depends
Tokyo.
on the country. It may be shaky, man, but I
Yeah,
mean, it's gonna happen. You
like
know,
Mexico City,
Yeah.
they're cool, but
I figured it would attack the large cities first,
first,
and then
yeah,
maybe
then it's gonna migrate out.
slowly,
Yeah,
slowly.
the densely populated areas where there's a lot of, and they know about the data. They know what's what. That's why they put tracking shit on everything. So
And I
all the
tell you
densely
something else.
populated stuff is
Um,
it'll happen there first, and then it'll spread, and then it's gonna be people like us that help other people and try to show them this, that, and the other. I mean,
not
that's just
me.
how it's gonna happen.
When we went to El Salvador, Grizz, 2 years ago, one of the biggest initiatives for Bitcoin wasn't even the people getting them. It was teaching them
Teach
how
them
to
how to use it,
download
how
the
to
free
download
wallet.
the
You
yep,
remember
the
that?
free wallet.
yeah,
And
Yep.
they had teaching initiative like flyers, like
I
everywhere,
think it was
all
Yeah.
over.
Because I remember when y'all went there, but how long? I remember when y'all went there. How long did that happen though? That wasn't even a full year that they was doing that. I mean, it doesn't take long for adoption to
I think
occur when
No,
you
it was
put
the
the big
education,
initiative.
though.
That's what
It
I'm
was
saying.
education. Yeah.
I understand what you're talking about because I remember you saying something about that, and I remember reading about that. But
Hmm.
if
you don't hear about that no more because it's full blown.
But that's what I'm saying, because the country got together and everybody had the same
But
objective.
remember, they gave them an incentive. They would give you free Bitcoin.
$30.
If you
It's
just
$30
That's
in
what's
Bitcoin.
that's
they
what's
say, okay,
gonna happen. Okay. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Get a little free
And it's
money
going to
into
happen in the form of CBDCs.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
But
that's
it's
what's
still,
going
it's
to
going to
happen.
be a major challenge, though. I'm talking about for
Yeah.
the third
Yep.
world,
Yeah.
undereducated. It's going to
Yeah.
be a
not to the new people, right? To the
Yeah.
younger people,
Well,
they ready.
But
yeah.
I'm saying,
But
understand
PFC Wells
that
is right. PFC Wells, you right. He said, I'm talking about the first tier
tier
countries. The
countries,
second and third tier countries don't have the infrastructure.
they won't be able to move
But
as fast.
but the reason why there's a thing called a second and third tier country is because of countries like the US, Britain, China, all of that. I found this out when I was in school, when I was in my where I write a bunch of papers and shit. I want to say social studies. You know, I'm old school. It was some type of civics class to where I needed to do a paper. And I had the wherewithal to do a paper on, you know, like how countries are deemed third world countries. And it's simply because of other countries that have the bully pulpit and they have the means like a SWIFT, you know, to put sanctions on different countries, you know. So I mean, it's just one of those things to where the infrastructure is gonna catch up with the adoption curve of the asset itself. It'll have to, because you better believe they want to get everybody banked. Okay.
Yes, they
And
do.
the way that you're gonna be banked, your bank is gonna be your phone.
So when you say that, when you talk about the second world, second tier, third tier countries, do you think with BRICS and trying to bring in all these countries, I just read an article today, Egypt, Iran, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Ethiopia formally joined BRICS. Is that a way for them to track to the first tier?
I think so.
Is fast track to the first tier? What do you mean? No, that was planned. These countries was planned to come in last year on the 1st of January 2024. They've been agreed on that. But
what I'm saying is, if they align themselves,
if they align themselves with China and those Russia, they will give them the resources in order to get up to speed to become a first tier. Right? They won't get left behind.
No,
well, we looking at the main objective of BRICS wrong. The main objective of BRICS wrong is to de-dollarize and to get oil off of the dollar. Okay. Yeah. You get oil off of the dollar, which it already is. That's going to bring down the status of the dollar, but it'll also allow other countries to have the freedom to enact commerce with each other where they didn't have that freedom because of the dollar. Okay. Yeah. And that's the main reason why they wanted the BRICS nations came together in the first place, because they got tired of places like US and Britain putting people under sanctions because they didn't do what they wanted them to do, you know. And you know, people just don't understand. You can't be a bully your whole fucking life, man. At some point, you're gonna meet your match and somebody gonna tattoo you. And that's what's happening right now. That's exactly what's happening right now. The US and Britain and all of them, they're getting tattooed. France is getting tattooed. All these African countries kicked France out, told them, get your colonizing ass out of here. I mean, you know.
But then they take on another colonizer, though.
Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily. You got to know exactly everything that's going on with that. It's these three leaders. I thought I sent y'all the information in TikTok. It's these three leaders that is trying to do what Gaddafi was doing. All right, okay. Gaddafi. The reason why Gaddafi was killed is because Gaddafi was trying to get the price of oil, get oil that they had, and their resources that they had under their soil, priced in the Libyan dinari.
They were going to back it by gold, though.
And they was going, well, the dinari was going to be gold. It's going to be made out of gold.
Backed by gold, yeah. And then Hillary didn't like that, so she killed him.
Nah, it wasn't Hillary. It wasn't Hillary. Hillary
You
wasn't the
said we
president.
came, we saw, he died.
Well, she
I'm
was
just
talking shit. It wasn't Hillary.
paraphrasing what she said.
Yeah, but Hillary
No,
was
no,
not
no,
the
no, no. We
president.
can't.
Hillary wasn't the president. She ain't make that call.
No, she's Secretary of State. I know, I get it. But she was
He
in
was
on
the
it.
Secretary of State. Even the president, Obama, he probably didn't make that call. Them oil companies and them big wigs and places,
The shareholders. They made
companies
the
like
She didn't have no
Halliburton.
problem with the call.
call. She had no problem with the call. I'm just
Well,
quoting
they
what she
look
said. She was like,
in
good
the
idea.
grand scheme of things. In the grand scheme of things, when you look at governments and policy makers and stuff like that, they are beholden to the big money. They are beholden to the capital. They're going to do what that money tells them to do. Or they're going to do what whoever is really running shit. Because let's be clear, we already know that, you know, presidents and even kings are figureheads. When you got financial families like the Rothschilds, the Warburgs, the Bilderbergs, all of them mugs, when you got them that actually fund both sides of everything and are right in the middle of everything, they are the ones they're the puppet masters. They're the ones that's got the strings and they pulling the
Let
strings.
freedom ring.
Yeah.
Let freedom ring said that was the banker's call.
There you go.
And he's absolutely right.
That's so funny.
It was a banker's call because think about it. They would stand to lose way too much, because if you price oil and whatever other asset that they had that was probably being looted anyway in something else, then that would be a downfall for whoever had stuff going on in the US dollar. I mean, it's
So
just go ahead.
I was gonna say, when you talk about BRICS nations, we know it's to get de-dollarization, but is there any alliance and
there's other benefits to the alliance.
like warfare? So if you decide to attack one, is that an alliance in warfare, or is it just only in trade and in?
Well, I mean, that depends on the countries and if they make that agreement.
They gonna make that.
You know, that depends on whether or not those countries want to have that type of agreement to say, hey, like the US did with the House of Sides, said, hey, look, you know, you're gonna have to price everything in they basically said you're gonna have to price everything in US dollars or we're gonna have a problem, and you don't want these problems. And
but
because
he's saying that, I think you missed.
yeah, he's saying what he's saying is if they coming together as nations with financially with the BRICS and pricing stuff in there, will they get together in wars? And yeah, I mean, allies is going to be allies, and that it all depends. Like I said, it depends on those. It depends on those countries and how they feel about each other, whether or not they would want to take on something like that. But y'all got to also remember, wars, conventional wars, you ain't gonna see too many like conventional wars no more, man. That, just like everything else is changing, them conventional wars and boots on the ground and all that shit, you ain't gonna see a lot of that. You'll see
you have
more.
Alexa?
Huh?
Do you have Alexa?
Nah, we never Alexa. But I've been hearing
little talking things.
Yeah, I got home pods and shit, but they don't.
Okay.
Apple don't.
They don't have the information.
Apple don't allow.
Yeah, Siri didn't have it either.
Yeah, Siri don't have that.
About the United Nations States of America. You heard that?
Yeah, I heard that on TikTok, and you got to understand who made Alexa.
Google, right?
Who is Google? Google's the CIA.
Yeah, we don't know who they are.
They're the CIA, man, for real. Nah, they are part of the CIA. I'm telling you. Think about that shit. When 9/11 happened and they came out with the Patriot Act and they took away, because everybody was scared, they took away everybody's freedoms, or so-called freedoms, because you wasn't really free anyway. So-called freedoms when it came to being looked at and your privacy and all that shit. It put it on steroids. So they say Facebook, the FBI is like all intertwined with that shit. You know, because these stupid motherfuckers be putting shit on Facebook.
So
You
the
know, that's
second
why.
half
Go
of
ahead.
the explanation for the United Nations States of America was that there's going to be an EMP over Kansas. It's going to get dropped over Kansas, and it's going to totally destroy, networks, kind of like Leave the World Behind,
Yeah.
where all of the electronics and stuff are down. They're saying that Canada is going to be affected, parts of Mexico, probably the northern parts of Mexico, like Baja California, stuff like that, are going to be affected. And this starts the apocalyptic event of 2024. It's also saying, like when you say, Alexa, who's going to win the 2024 presidential race? There will
They're
be no
saying it
president.
ain't gonna be one. Yeah. They're
Yep,
saying it's not gonna
because
be one.
of the enacted United Nations States of America. For those of y'all who are listening to us, if you have Alexa, I can't remember what the name of the other pod is, but if you have Alexa or something, them home pods, kind of, ask it what the United Nations States of America is, and keep following up with questions, because she's going to explain it to you. Chat GPT says, because I checked Chat GPT, said that I am not updated like Alexa and other home pod electronics. I haven't had an update since 2022, so I don't have that information for you yet. Because I thought maybe Chat GPT might give me some information on it.
Did
But
you want to read? I'm sorry, King Henry. I remember King Henry. Did you want to read? So I can't read.
Oh, PFC Wells said King Henry, I think, of Portugal is a perfect example. It was his prime minister who was the real brains behind the monarchy. Yeah, there's always been a deep state in a sense.
Yeah.
And then figureheads, or we call them talking heads, who the people can see, but you can't see the deep state behind them. Cat face enthusiast. Hey, Chief.
Catface. You talking
I
about?
hope.
Yeah, the Catface is trolling.
What is it? HIV treatment is going good. Cat face. What are you talking about? But I'm hoping it's a.
Nah, man.
Anyway, none of the
Catface
BRICS have
talking
military
shit.
agreement. The focus is economics right now. Wait till you see the regional agreement for digital assets, CBDC, crypto, and agreements. Yeah, but PFC Wells, you got to understand that we're talking about BRICS Plus, right? They are going to want the protection of Russia, China, right? The big part of BRICS. They're gonna want that protection, because if America come down on their head, they're gonna be like, hey, we need y'all to help us. So right now, while that's there, it is going to expand and scale up, and it's basically going to turn into, we all going to jump in, because America's time is past. Two, one thing that Americans have to come to terms with, America is long due for some judgment, long overdue for some judgment.
You went downstairs.
That's why I'm saying to you guys, you want to be prepared, you want to keep your head on a swivel, because you have a lot of people angry at you for a lot of just dirty shit that you've done for centuries. And America ain't even that old of a country. You know what I'm saying? So just kind of keep those things in mind. I don't know what cat face issue is with the chief, but just chill out. I'm not one to kick people out of rooms, but the 43s. What is that? Is that a firehouse? The 43s?
What?
Is the
Nah,
43s? All right, I'm kicking you out.
yeah, that's he trolling, man, or she. The motherfuckers is crazy. Calm down, Looney Bin Jim. Who is Looney Bin Jim? They're Catface. Oops, something went
All
wrong.
right,
So
gone.
reload the page.
Yeah, no, they're gone. I
Yeah.
usually don't kick people out, but yes, let freedom room judgment. Y'all know I read my little Bible, so I use the term judgment, but they are overdue for some lickbacks then.
They are, man.
Yeah.
It's just too much. It's your hand is in every single pot. You burn your bridges. You don't. I cannot. Let me go back president wise. I think JFK might have been the last president who was willing to really nurture foreign relations, and I think he had every intention to. And then when he found out there was a deep state, what'd he do? He got upset and he said, we will not tolerate this. And then they killed him. So, the United Nation States of America. So ask your Alexa. This is Les Square who's asking.
Oh, okay.
Just say, Alexa, what is the United Nation States of America? And just keep following up with questions. What EMP gets dropped over Kansas in 2024? Keep asking questions. I keep looking for somebody who has one so I can run the experiment, but nobody I know uses Alexa. They don't want all of that in their house, listening to every conference. The phone and the computer's enough.
You already know.
Yeah, you can Google it. As soon as you Google it, it'll come up. I mean, because Alexa is
No, but I
Google.
wanted to ask it more, because you can
Yeah.
ask it questions. Yeah, I had some questions I wanted to ask. KW1, I couldn't help myself. Did she answer you, KW1? Alexa. I can't remember what the other one is. I think it's like Amazon or something. It belongs to Amazon or something.
You were telling you about?
No, I did Chat GPT. It's not updated.
Oh, okay.
They said their last update was 2022. They're waiting for an update. Bubba.
I'm sorry. You know, we can still read.
Well, we are going to let y'all play with y'all Alexas.
Play with yourself.
No, this is a family show.
Oh, my bad.
We're going to let y'all, test out Alexa, do your experiment, ask lots of questions. See what kind of answers you get, but we are way overdue. We're 2 hours and 20 minutes. As always, Happy New Year. We pray that the year, in spite of anything coming our way, brings you nothing but blessings, abundance, prosperity, joy, and love. Last comment, Russia signed a deal with the UAE for a CBDC. The landscape is shifting. You don't have to be physical to mess with a country's economic. Yeah, we know that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon is Alexa. Google is okay, Google. Thank you. If you know, you know. What is an EMP? Ask Alexa what an EMP is. She'll explain it. But it's basically
Electromagnetic pulse.
It's an electromagnetic pulse, but it's a frequency that kills networks and
Radio
fries
waves,
computers,
all that
stuff
shit.
like that. Yeah. Happy New Year to everyone. Great show. Black Perry Dot. Absolutely love y'all, family. We love y'all. Bye. Oh, Simon said we have to be shooting at least twice a week. So Simon says, so we have to do it. So we'll definitely be on again probably.
I would say Friday or Saturday.
Friday or Saturday, y'all. Thank you, E. and L. Thank you, Let Freedom Ring. Thank you, Black Paradise. We love y'all. We appreciate
Yeah, Happy
y'all.
New Year to y'all.
Happy New Year. Bye.